You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 132. This title was a missed opportunity.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the only internet podcast broadcast in stereoscopic 3D. My name is Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
I'm Raven Perez.
I'm Mark Welser. Hi.
And welcome once again to a new episode of the Savage FINcast, the internet's only Eric Larson / Savage Dragon / other Eric Larson creation FINcast podcast.
Ant. You meant to say ant.
Ant. It's Ant. And Ant.
Ant.
You remember Ant?
Yeah. Who could forget that giant red ass?
I still haven't read Ant.
What?
I've got them. I was saving them for a rainy day, and I haven't got around to reading them yet.
Well,
those are the only episodes of the FINcast that I have not listened to because I haven't read them yet. So I didn't want spoilers.
Those are some interesting episodes.
Imagine two candy red apples go on an adventure. And that is how Ant reads.
I'll get to it someday.
I mean, it's pretty good. Sometimes. So this is going to be a pretty lean and mean news intro. We apparently only have one news item this episode compared to last episode where we had many more than one. If I could just find it. Here we go. We got a new cover for Savage Dragon 274, which shows Glum holding Angel in his hand, a giant Glum holding a small Angel in his hand, for much symbolism. What I find interesting about this cover is that Angel is wearing her mom's costume. It's not her usual costume.
Yeah.
Is that right? What was... I don't have it in front of me. What's the difference?
Normally she's in her little like centurion skirt.
Yeah, a
with
lot
her
more,
like
a lot more boobs hanging out.
Huh.
But yeah, Jim's right. She's in the Smasher outfit for sure. And it's a callback to issue 126, Glumlord.
Yep, I do recall we've seen this similar pose before, with Glum holding things in his hand. I think in the Merging the Multiverse, he also does a similar pose where he's like crushing a planet. Maybe that was a cover, though. Maybe that was one of the trade paperback covers.
You know, people just can't get enough of that Mr. Glum, and I thought he was dead.
According to this he's back from the dead.
Return. Yeah.
You fucking kidding me? Does death mean nothing in comics anymore?
Anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not sure her death has ever mattered in comics. Did you know the Joker died in his very first appearance?
That was Joe Chill.
No. What?
That was Joe Chill.
No, not in the very first
parents.
Batman appearance. In Joker's very first appearance. He dies at the end of the issue.
Who's writing it, Eric?
Well, as long as Bucky stays dead, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bucky
yeah.
O'Hare.
Yes. Bucky O'Hare.
It used to be Bucky and Uncle Ben were still dead, but now it's only Uncle Ben. And it's only a matter of time.
And Gwen was the other one, yeah.
Gwen was the sacred one because everybody's like, oh, it's too important to Peter's history. But now, like, imagine, like, here's this person whose their death really defines you. And, like, you just fucking see her dressed as Deadpool. being like, "That's all, folks," and you're just like, "Huh, wow,
Well,
that really meant a lot to me in my life." But okay,
well, it's funny though. At this point, Spider-Gwen has actually been around longer than Gwen Stacy original ever was. It's kind of a really strange situation where the replacement, alternate reality version of a character is somehow replaced the original.
it's
Kind of
the
wacky.
it's the inbred nature of modern pop culture where it,
I don't
originally that story mattered, and now it doesn't matter at all, and that's the truth. Gwen Stacy's death, does that fucking mean anything to anyone? No one gives a shit at all.
Nope.
Oh, I broke her neck when she was falling. Who cares?
I don't
She's
know.
fine.
I
There's
think-
a version of her right there, and there's another version of her. I don't give a shit. She fucked Norman Osborn and had twins, and he fought them.
allegedly.
Nothing matters.
That's so weird.
It's so dumb.
So glad I don't read comics. That sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Imagine alternate versions of characters that died in a comic book.
Never been done.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, we got nothing for news. What do you guys think it means for Angel to be in a completely incorrect costume? Like, what the fuck's going on?
I actually have no fucking idea. I have no theories for this one.
Probably just her new like SOS costume or something. Who knows?
Oh, that's a good take. That actually makes sense.
I didn't even clock it at first because I feel like we've seen her wear that before, but we must not have, right?
I don't recall.
I don't think
It just stood out to me that it wasn't the costume she's been wearing.
Oh.
And it's definitely her mom's.
I don't think it's a case of Eric forgot what she wears. This must be her new costume then, yeah?
I think Craig's right. I think it's the those are her SOS togs.
But we've already seen her in action as part of the SOS not wearing it, so.
I don't know. Strange things are afoot for 274.
Did you notice that Eric also posted the covers and then a few days later posted them again with slight revisions? In fact, I think there are now going to be 3 covers instead of just 2. Because he did the 2 variants, one with the current image eye and the one with the retro. And then he's also got one with the big gelatin Thor style Savage Dragon logo, which kind of looks pretty cool.
Exactly. The underwater logo.
It
Yeah,
is the same cover 3 times, though.
yeah,
It
it's
is.
definitely. I disapprove of that. I'm gonna say that,
Yeah.
like, to me, that logo, the underwater logo, is awesome. It is awesome as hell. But if you're gonna do 3 covers, have a guest.
Yeah.
Well, this is the case. Eric's done this before, where he's solicited a cover, and then he spends days agonizing over, is this the right background color? I don't know which one I like better. So now he's just like, fuck it, I'll just print all 3 of them.
I own the company. Who's going to stop me?
Right.
Eric Stevenson, and he just swats him down like a fly. Eric,
does
I really
make it a
think
lot-
you should.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to not have to get all 3 covers, though. As far as I'm concerned.
I do
Yeah.
like that giant Savage Dragon wavy logo though.
I
That's
do
hard
like
to-
the logo.
to resist.
None of them look bad.
No,
No.
they all look awesome.
Although
So
there's
that-
no rendering on Glum's chest, and it looks like he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah, I saw that too. You're right. It doesn't look right. It looks like he's wearing a vest.
Yeah.
He's got
Or,
the wife beater on.
yeah, exactly. Well, wife beater. Is that appropriate to say? I don't know.
I
No,
mean,
it's what everyone calls him, but is that correct?
Spouse beater, I think, is probably the preferred.
Someone will be offended, don't you worry.
It's
don't
not
know.
even about offense.
Nobody-
It's like, can you buy him in a store with that name?
No, I don't think they've ever sold them under that name.
Their official name is A-shirts. You got
I don't think,
T-shirts and A-shirts.
Haynes went into their marketing campaign and said, let's label these wife beaters. The masses enjoy that.
The masses. This will make the filthy masses happy.
This will sell like hotcakes. Wife beaters.
Guys, that's fucking all, dude. We don't have shit for the news.
Rip.
Yeah.
You're really good at that, Raven.
You know what I feel like? I think since we had such a light and fluffy little news article, just a single news article, you know what we haven't done in a long time? I feel like I'm talking to goddamn strangers sometimes. Who are you guys?
I'm Craig Olson.
And I'm Raven Perez.
I'm James Purcell.
Oh, boy.
No one wants to be me. No one wants to be Mark.
Well, I think first up, just to front load this, what are our comic creators up to these days? You know, people who actually make things that will last beyond their lifetime.
Oh, boy.
Mark, you go first.
Well, this will be quick. I'm still working away on Dracula.
Nice.
I'm not spending nearly as much time on it as I should be. I recently started up my summer job again, so I'm out on the water.
Yeah, but wait, for the listeners that might not know, just give a little taste of what that book is.
Book. It's the Bloody Ring of Dracula. It's about Dracula hiding out in Mexico and then becoming a professional wrestler with the mask and everything. You know, luchador.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be 4 issues. It was originally going to be 2 oversized issues, but I think we're breaking it up into 4, or maybe I don't remember. It's going to be 4 issues worth of content.
And that's
Nice.
you and Rich Woodall, who you worked on.
Me and Rich
Gods
Woodall, yeah.
of Brutality.
So if you've read Gods of Brutality and you said this isn't bad, maybe you'd like this one too.
Did El
Are
Santo
you
ever
guys
fight?
gonna? Sorry.
Did El Santo ever fight vampires?
Yes. I think him and Blue Demon both fought. What was the name of the movie?
Nosferatu?
No.
They
it
had
was-
one where they fought, like, there was a wolf man, I think there was a mummy, and there was a...
Versus the zombies. Here's one. That's right. The vampire ladies, right? Yeah, they're all female vampires. Samson versus the vampire women.
And a Frankenstein. It's Santo and Blue Demon versus the monsters. I guess that's the title. Santo and Blue Demon against the monsters.
El Santo movies are weird. I've tried to watch a few of them.
I watched one to make sure that we weren't treading the same ground in our book that they did in this film, and I think we're probably going to be okay.
Very safe.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
No, it's a cool idea.
Are you guys gonna do like a Kickstarter, or are you gonna you got a publisher, or?
Yeah, we're going to kickstart this one at some point. If someone ever gets off their ass and finishes drawing them.
Rich.
Woodall. But no, it's all written. It's just, I think it was just waiting on me.
Well, I mean, listen, summer fun can't last forever. When the winter times come in, batten down the hatches and knock that bitch out.
Right. That's what I'm going to try to do. But for the first 2 issues are mostly done. But I've been bouncing around between them.
I'm going to say it, dude. I've seen these pages when I went to visit Mark, and they look fucking awesome. So I think people are in for a treat. Like, Mark's style, for anybody who's only listening and doesn't know for sure, is like very Eric-centric, but like he's got his own vibe going on. And again, if you read Gods, you know that like he does this lavish actual ink on bristleboard like spatters and just rendering, and it's fucking sick. So yeah. I know you're not gonna hype your own shit up that hard. I'm gonna hype it up for you. I've seen Dracula pages and they look fucking killer. 10 out of 10 top tier stuff coming your way.
Thanks, man.
I
know somebody else likes them too.
Your Gods of Brutality trade paperback was just printed, right?
Yeah,
that's starting to reach.
Up and they're starting to show up in people's. I know Craig still didn't get his yet.
No, but I know they were printed and they're on their way. Are you guys gonna have like? Do you have extras for like conventions and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're currently all at Rich's house because there was to ship them to me and to Rich would have been astronomical. So we just had them shipped to one place, and at some point, Rich and I are going to have to meet somewhere in the middle of between where we live, which is in New York somewhere, and then we're going to have to just exchange it. It's going to be like a drug deal.
Did you get your own copy yet?
Yeah, Rich sent me a couple. He sent me a few of them. They look really. I think they look better here than they did when we were printed the issues.
Nice.
Stock's really nice. The colors look really good. It's a good looking book.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't wait to get it all in one collection.
Yeah, that's
gonna be rad.
That's another little behind the scenes thing. Like Mark showed me some of the stuff, like digital, like straight digital, and like the files, the stock that the original singles were printed on really did change the look of the work. And so, like these trades, I'm excited as hell because I think people are going to get to see Gods of Brutality in like a whole new light.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm pretty happy with the way they look.
People don't realize how what a significant difference stock makes. Like you got a lot of ignorant assholes being like, printed on newsprint and charge less, and it's like, cool. If you want your shit to look shitty, fucking newspapers were designed to last a day and be thrown away.
Right.
And it's cool if you're that like short-sighted and like fucking don't give a shit. But like for people who actually like comics and appreciate the medium and want the art to look as good as it can or whatever, stock matters, baby. That's all I'm saying. Gods of Brutality. It's got that quality stock.
And at some point, once Dracula's done, hopefully we'll be doing more Volume 2 of Gods. So we'll see. If I haven't completely lost interest in drawing by then.
You won't. It's in your blood.
Well, we'll see.
It's in your DNA.
The cool thing about gods too is like if you're fighting demons or going through hell, there's like so many cool, interesting creatures and shit like that you can draw. And those splash pages on gods are fucking amazing. All the shit that you put in there, like all the random ass shit. It's just so cool and violent.
Thanks, man. Those are the reviews. Random ass shit. Should put that right on the a pull quote on the book.
It's like little kids with like Uzis or something, right? Like fucking demons.
Yeah, there was some Girl Scouts with knives or swords or something.
Yeah. That was a great comic, dude. I really do hope we get to see more of that.
Dracula will be, I think, a bit more serious. It's not going to be as goofy, but it should still be fun and violent.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll be there. You know that.
Yeah.
Give the
So,
people
Raven?
what they crave.
Yeah, that's my whole life pretty much. Other than that, I did actually start. This is going to probably. I did finish up Tears of the Kingdom.
Nice.
Other than getting all the Caruxes, but finished all my side quests, upgraded all my armor to their fullest, and I decided I was done.
Good.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't play video games. And then my son got Fallout 76, and I said, that looks fun. We watched the show, and I'm like, maybe I'll play the game. And now I'm playing Fallout 76.
Question. So you haven't played any Fallout previously, I assume, because you don't play video games.
Correct.
What did you think about the show?
Well, I watched the show before I had played any of the games.
Right,
The show is what prompted me to play the game. I was able to follow it. Really good. It was a really good show. It seemed very accessible to an idiot like me who doesn't know anything about the games. But once I started playing, I was like, oh, this is... You start to catch the little hints, but they don't hit you over the head with it, and they don't seem out of place. I thought it was a really good balanced show. I really liked it.
Well, Fallout 76 takes place about 200 years before the events of the show, so... But it's fascinating to me, because I like the show too, but I've played the previous Fallout games, and the thing about the show is it's one of the most unique video game adaptations ever, in my opinion, because it is a straight up sequel to the games. It is basically what would a Fallout 5 would be. But it also is fully accessible to anyone who has not played the games before, because the story is kind of removed from anything that came previously. It's just the world that has remained the same, not the plot.
Right. And I think that's what all the games are too. Like they all take place in different eras.
They all take place in different places and times, and they basically all stand on their own. I mean, New Vegas is technically a straight sequel to 2, but even that one can be played on its own, because, at any rate, details don't matter.
Yeah, I never felt lost watching it.
That's interesting. I've been trying to get more opinions of people whose only experience with Fallout is the show. So that's really cool to me. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Fun tidbit for you, Mark, and anyone who's listening who has played Fallout 76. Fallout 76 takes place in West Virginia, and it's not accurate at all. But
is there more toxic waste in the real world?
There's more mutants. Like a lot more mutants in real West Virginia. But what's neat is some of the stuff that people think is fake in the video game, like the Taj Mahal and shit like that. Like that shit's real. Like
and the Mothman.
Yeah, the Mothman. It's all like fucking the Flatwoods Monster. Like all that stuff is like, So what's cool is if you like that Fallout 76 shit, like West Virginia has like a trans Allegheny lunatic asylum. It's got, a gigantic fucking bridge, like that was the largest bridge in the world for a long time.
Yep.
It's got the Golden Palace, which was actually like a palace built by like a fucking religious guru from India. Like it is, full of actual real life West Virginia isms, and so just kind of cool, kind of neat.
And all the games are kind of like that. The first 2 games take place on the West Coast, and there's all the cities, San Francisco, LA, etc. And like 3 takes place in Washington, D.C., so there's tons of stuff outside the city limits that is references to local things, etc., etc. I mean, New Vegas takes place in Las Vegas, just tons of Las Vegas references. And
we watched... Go ahead.
I was just saying, that's kind of the whole gimmick of the game series, is you go to different places in the post-apocalyptic setting and run into stuff that's familiar.
Yeah, we watched it. There's videos out there where people do comparisons of like the games and the actual places.
Right.
And they're real fucking close.
Yeah, it's funny. I worked in Beckley for like fucking 15 years. So as you go through Beckley, just envision my dead corpse at a call center. At a call center, just bombed out call center. There'd be my skeleton.
Raven, you're definitely a ghoul, and you're still working on Raven's Dojo.
For sure.
Well, we've been to Berkeley Springs. That's where that had the like George Washington's bathtub or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah. That one didn't look quite the same, but yeah, it's really good. The thing I did like about the show, I'm gonna get sidetracked here. Sorry. Is that all the main characters on the show represent different ways that you can play the game, which I thought was really, really fucking cool.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you want to, you can be the Vault Dweller that does this. You can play it this way. You can go and join the Brotherhood.
I think they just added the ability to play ghouls.
Yep.
That's new. That's new.
I think, today, I think it just happened, I think.
Well, follow-up question for both of you. Do you think it's weird that people wanted to fuck the ghoul?
No. I mean, and I know. People will fuck anything.
Yeah. Monster fuckers are real, but the guy had he looked like Red Skull.
I mean, yes, absolutely, but he's still Goggins under there.
Yeah, he's still pretty much Goggins.
I think it helps that half of his scenes is him in the past with a face and a nose. So I think that helps a lot. And then they're really just kind of attracted to the cowboy aesthetic.
Here's the thing is, I always thought Walton Goggins cowboy was like your cliche redneck, stinks like shit. Like, I never imagined him as being a sexy cowboy that you want to fuck. That's Legends of the Fall Brad Pitt. That's not Walton Goggins from fucking Hateful Eight.
Well, what I noticed when I was watching the show is when he's the ghoul, he's got this like cowboy accent, but like all the flashbacks, he does not
Well, he's
have that accent at
acting.
all.
He's acting.
He's doing a role when he's the ghoul. It's
He's become the role is my take on it.
right.
He took on this persona at some point in his past, and now it's consumed him.
He took that
Did you
birthday
watch-
party. That birthday party gig became his whole identity.
Seems like it. You watched it too, Raven?
I just watched the first episode. I didn't get to watch the rest because, comics are a cruel mistress.
I gotcha.
But yeah, I watched the first episode. I fucking loved it. I just haven't had time to watch more.
How you doing, Craig?
I plan on watching it, just haven't had time. And I've got one eye right now.
It's really good. I'd recommend it.
Craig, what makes it to make this Savage Dragony? In the first episode, like the main character gets fucked, and the guy that's fucking her goes and wipes his dick on a curtain. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, why do people have a problem with Savage Dragon? But I've not heard one. I've not heard one fucking person be like, "Well, I just didn't see why she had to get fucked, and what was the point of him wiping his dick on that curtain?"
So that sex scene didn't add anything to the story.
Yeah, what were they trying to say with that? It's like nothing. They weren't. It's a fucking sex scene in an entertainment piece.
Well, they were
Fucking
actually saying it was pretty fucked up because it was pretty fucked up.
Well, we don't want to spoil it for Craig, but it's kind of like if you wanted to be all Austin Powers with it and just hint and allude, you could have. They got pretty graphic, but whatever. It's all good.
I mean the context, not the act.
Right. No, I know you know and Mark knows. I don't want to spoil it for Craig or the listeners.
I think the point is that like sex scenes are also integral sometimes.
Yeah, it's
I think
flavor.
that's the point we're making. Yeah, it's a little spicy.
To grab the reins of this, I am doing Raven's Dojo 25th anniversary over because I kind of ended up living in my car for a year, and so the real 25th anniversary didn't get too celebrated, and so I am trying to do my best to celebrate this year. I'm trying to get back to updating speed. I'm slower, but I'm getting there. But the real story is that
you've been on it. I mean, you've got new pages coming out pretty consistently.
Thank you, but I feel like I can still do a little bit better. But we'll see. I mainly, this year being the anniversary do-over, I'm trying to emphasize comics over illustration. Like I was just doing a lot of illustration just to keep things, keep people happy and keep things rolling. But this year is all about the comic, and I am going to be taking that long overdue step of getting books 5, 6, and 7. Yes, we are skipping 2, 3, and 4. Because they are in color and they will be too expensive to currently do the way they are. So we're skipping them. And we're doing the Super Ravens Dojo.
You're pulling on Eric Larson.
It's fine.
Truly, you've become your hero.
It's fine. The thing is, it's all about making them affordable. And so, for the first time since 2012, I'm going to have more books. And so they're going to be in super limited quantities. There's not going to be any kind of Kickstarter. It's all POD. It's all coming out of my pocket. And so we are going to be getting books 5, 6, and 7, hopefully by the end of the summer. That'll be my little Summer of Super Ravens Dojo event. But yeah, the dojo is the main focus. I'm doing all kinds of little 25th anniversary stuff. Still working on surprises and things like that. There are comics, like side comics and things brewing. Devil Powered Witches is way fucking over. I'm dying to get back to Devil Powered Witches. I'm dying to kickstart Awesome Demon Dawson, and Total Bads are my 3 spin-off projects. But hey, baby, this is the 25th anniversary do-over. We're giving the dojo the spotlight. We're not doing any side comics. We're not doing any side hustle. It's all Raven's Dojo this year. And so that's what I got on my docket. That's what I'm doing comics-wise.
Now,
Pretty
when these
stoked.
are printed, for people that have the first volume, is it going to be the same dimensions, same size as the first book?
No. It's the first book. I was very happy with it at the time. But the problem is that printers can be a tricky and shitty lot, and they waited until after the Kickstarter to be like, they tried to put the squeeze on me, and they were like, well, we can't do it. I wanted to do it. I draw 8.5 by 11, like copy paper size, right?
Right.
And unlike a lot of artists, I don't want reduction. Like, you can look at it 1-to-1. I draw real small. So if I want the work to look small, I draw small. If I want the work to look big, I draw big. But I don't really rely on reduction to sharpen up my work and stuff. Like, you can look at it just as it is, and it's fine. It holds its own. And so I was wanting to print that book 1 at 8.5 by 11, and my printer, like, fucking waited until the Kickstarter was done, and was like, that's going to be a problem. We're going to need... And I was just, like, fucking ready to blow my brains out because they were trying to squeeze me for, like, another, like, $3,000 or $4,000. And I was like, dude, I just can't do it. I was like, how... What's the closest you can get without making this, like, the wrong fucking size? And so that's why book 1 looks the way it does. It's not quite 8.5 by 11. It's real close. These books, 5, 6, and 7, and every book going forward are going to be 8.5 by 11. And so they will be the 1-to-1, like, just you holding it in your hands exactly as I drew it, size that I always wanted. And so what's going to end up...
It'd be Raven's Dojo artist editions.
I mean, here's the funny thing. I laugh.
Right?
Yeah. I laugh because essentially if you're reading my comics, you got the artist edition in your hand, right?
Right.
Like, that's how it is because I work in ink. And so there's not, like, pencil and erase and whiteout and shit like that. But as for the question, everybody is always like, whoa, what about the color stuff? What about the color stuff? Color stuff's coming. It's just not coming this year. It's a massive undertaking to go back and, like, get that shit print ready. But on top of that, it doesn't work as good for POD. Like, if you do black and white POD, you can sell it at a reasonable price and you make a profit and you're not gouging the shit out of your customers. But, like, color POD is not great. Like, it would cost me, like, $20 a book. So what would I charge you, the reader? Like, that's not...
$21.
Right? So it doesn't work. I'm still gotta... Basically, I gotta, like, brainstorm and figure out how the fuck to make those books work. And then even worse than that is that, like, book 4... actually has, like, heavy rewrites where I have to, like, replace another guy's characters with my original characters. And so there's, like, 98 pages of art corrections that need to be made. And so it's like, basically I just threw my hands up and said, all that color shit can wait. We'll just go to black and white. And so sadly, yes, I have become Eric. My graphic novels are going to have weird numbers.
Oh well, it is what
That's
it is.
exciting news. Yeah. But I will say congratulations on 25 years. Because I was thinking when I was a kid, like, Spider-Man felt like he was around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, forever. But then when they put out, like, his 25th anniversary, which I remember, it makes you, I don't know, it kind of puts things into perspective. So now Raven's Dojo is basically at Amazing Spider-Man 300. Was it 300?
That's weird.
The 25th anniversary? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird because I share an anniversary with, like, One Piece and, like, fucking Street Fighter and, like, a bunch of, like, obviously way more popular things.
Right.
But like, it puts it into perspective because, like, in the amount of time I've been working on my shit, like, One Piece became, like, the biggest comic in the whole fucking world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird, dude. Thank you. It's been fun. I've had a blast. I'm having a blast. Like, I'm trying to line up special guest artists for this 25th anniversary, but, like, everybody's so fucking busy that, like, even though I'm like, I will pay you, and I don't want a friend rate. Like, let me pay you your full rate. They're like, nah, I'm busy. I'm like, God damn it. So
You trying to put out a 100-page special?
that's a Connor Tierney. I can't do
Like,
that.
yeah.
Only Connor is capable of doing 100-page specials as an indie guy. Like, for me, I just can't do it, dude. But yeah, nah, it's fun. I'm having a blast. I'm having a fucking killer time, and yeah, I'm hyped. I'm having a great time. I love what I do, man. Raven's Dojo is my Savage Dragon, so I'm having the time of my life.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. That's really good.
Thank you. Jim, Craig, what the fuck are you guys into?
Well, as someone who doesn't create, only consumes, I've mostly just been catching up on various TV shows and web cartoons and stuff. I'll be honest. I mean, I draw every day, but nothing I feel confident enough to share.
Porn.
I hope that'll change. Yeah, basically. You
Hentai,
nailed it.
yeah.
You nailed it, guys. You know that it's really fun to draw women? Did you know that?
It's the best.
It's just drawing his own dick.
Tracing it right on it like a hand turkey.
Making it into a turkey, yeah.
Clothing is so hard.
Here's the thing, Jim. Once you crack the code on fabric, drawing fabric is the best. It's actually fun to draw clothing.
Yeah,
It
it looks like it looks like it is.
You know what you do? This will help you. This will open your mind's third eye on that shit, and I'm not even joking. Just throw a bunch of fucking sheets over a bunch of garbage, right? Like just
Right.
fucking pile up a bunch of crates and boxes and just shit where the things can kind of have like shape underneath the sheet. And as lame as it sounds, draw that fucking sheet, and your mind will be like, "Oh, okay, I get this," and like you will be able to draw clothing like a motherfucker.
I got to do something. I need a breakthrough. I've been
That's
struggling lately. So
Still
that-
lifes.
I'll do some still
So what you're
life.
struggling with is the clothes and stuff?
You don't even need it. You don't even need a model, dude. Like when I started drawing, like fucking sheets draped over just old crates and footballs and just this is obviously college shit. But like when I started drawing that shit, I felt cocky, like I had nothing to learn. But it's like, I was being forced to draw like the still lifes, and it's like, yeah, no, it helped. It forces you to literally observe fabric folding.
Yeah, it does make a lot more sense when you look at it super closely. If you just look at it as one big thing, it's intimidating and daunting. But
I think I do need to go to something more abstract like that because I definitely use a lot of photo references and it isn't helping as much as I'd hope. So maybe I need to go to the fundamentals.
You'll see. Draw a still life, and your brain will be like, oh. We fucking like this.
Besides getting all of my repressed erotica out of me, I've kind of spent the last 2 months getting like really into like the most obscure thing you've ever heard of, and it's okay. So all right, so on the internet, on YouTube, there is this show, this web cartoon that's been around since like 2012, 2013. It's the crazy thing is how old it is, but that's not the whole story. Its name is Battle for Dream Island. Now, from the name of it, you can kind of sort of tell that it is, well, maybe not, but so what it is a cartoon, what is Survivor called? It's a
reality TV show?
It's like a cartoon reality TV show. Is like it's basically the most basic. It's kind of a knockoff of Total Drama Island, the cartoon, because that is also a cartoon reality show, quote unquote. The gimmick is that viewers vote on the characters who get knocked out in the next episode. Okay. So there's an episode and there's like a plot, and these characters compete, and at the end, the losing team goes up for elimination, and the people who watch the show can vote on it for the next episode. These episodes come out about once a month, so it's actually a pretty impressive turnaround when characters are getting eliminated by vote. So here's the thing. Here is the insane thing about this. There is like 30 hours of this show, and I watched all of it in about a week back in like March. I discovered it. The only reason I discovered it at all is because of there was a post on a Twitter account that posts Aqua Teen Hunger Force clips. And it posted about a Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference in the latest episode of this show I'd never heard of. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go see what this is because I got literally nothing going on in my life. So I check out this episode, and it's like the 10th episode of the second season that came out like that day. And it was like 20 minutes of like the most pure, unadulterated, like early 2000s humor I have seen in a long time. It's not crass. It's not educational. It's not poop humor. It's like this perfect distillation of like charm. And like, I can't even really describe it because, it's in the genre that it invented. Battle for Dream Island is like, it invented an entire genre called an object show. It's called an object show because all the characters are quote unquote objects, like a book or a pencil or an eraser. So on the surface, it looks like a juvenile children's show because all these characters are just noodle-armed things with eyes and mouths. And the earliest episodes are like that. They're like really small and they're like really basic animations. And then you learn this show was created by a 13 and a 14-year-old, twin brothers. And for like 3 years, they put these show episodes out monthly. And as you watch through these earliest episodes, the crudeness gradually goes away. And you see these two kids learning how to become animators in real time. And they go through like 25 episodes of this first season of the show. And then they go through 10 episodes or like 6 episodes of the second season of the show. And then it stops. And it goes on a 10-year hiatus as these kids go to college. And I happen to come back about 5 months after they return to the show. And so what I've discovered is that not only do you get to watching these episodes, watch these creators become talented, you watch how the show becomes popular. At first, like I said, you vote on the characters who survives into the next episode. Early on, we're talking about votes in the single digits for like long tracks of time. Nobody's watching this show. As things goes on, it becomes hundreds and so on. And when it goes on hiatus, there's getting maybe 1,000 votes every episode. But when it comes back, this show finds traction somewhere because it has got hundreds of thousands of votes, millions of views. I mean, billions of views and millions of subscribers. It's like an entire industry unto itself. And here is the absolute fucking kicker to the whole thing. There is no Wikipedia article for this show. There is no Wikipedia article for this show because Wikipedia has rules. And one of the rules is to have an article, a stub for an article, you have to generate something that can be sourced. Some kind of actual, like, not academic, but like newsworthy. Something that you can post at the bottom that it has a redirect to an actual source of some kind.
Right.
This is so insular, so within its own community, it generates like no outside interest at all. It's not like Homestuck or even like Penny Arcade or HomestarRunner.com or all those other famous web cartoons and such, because those things have general interest stories and stuff that ties into it, like conventions and shit. And actually, this does actually have conventions and stuff, but at any rate, but they've never generated enough general interest to allow them to have an actual entry. I mean, the creators have entries because they've gone on to do some other things that do qualify. And you learn about this not in a Wikipedia entry, like an article, but in what is known as a Wikipedia, what's it called? I forget what it's called. It's like an essay. Oh, it's an essay. It's a Wikipedia essay, which is different than a Wikipedia article. And it completely breaks down why they don't have an entry and are unlikely to have one anytime soon. It's just this incredible thing where I just backed into. and I do my usual thing of I watch the latest episode first rather than going back to the beginning because that's what I do. And now, just like Savage Dragon, where I started on issue 90 and now I podcasted about it in 2024, now I'm a fan. And and like I said, the community is really insular, but there's like hundreds of knockoffs. And a couple of them are good and a couple of them are like, okay. Most of them go 2 episodes and die, like most knockoff webcomics and such. Mm-hmm. But what if I told you there is a quote-unquote Watchmen equivalent of object shows?
What?
There's a
deconstruction of this thing?
Deconstruction of the object show genre. It's called One, O-N-E, One. It's 12 episodes, and holy shit if it's not one of the best web cartoons I've ever watched in my life. And it's only good because I got into this bullshit. And it only makes sense if you watch 20 hours of Battle for Dream Island. And that's what I've been doing for the last few months.
Wow. This is the last thing I ever expected anyone to ever say.
It's just one of those...
Well, when can we expect your Battle for Dream Island podcast?
Never, ever.
Oh.
See, here's the crazy thing. I don't even know if I can recommend it to people. Go out and watch it.
Okay.
Because it's not... I don't know who... See, it's perfect for me. It's just... It just absolutely clicks with the kind of web humor I'm into. And that's the thing. I don't know who it's for. But there are...
Well, apparently there's thousands out there.
Apparently there are millions. And like I said, for whatever... See, it's not raunchy. I mean, it can be, but not really. I mean, it has some jokes about vomit. It's not referential. There's, like, very few, like, cultural jokes. It's not, like, throwing a bunch of Star Wars reference out at you.
That's great.
That's part of why it's so great, is that it's not random lol humor. It's very internally consistent the way a good webcomic is.
Well, what was the Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference that?
Well, okay. So one of the things is that because the fan base is really into. Well, that's the thing. So the fan base is really into it, so they create their own characters as like a fun thing to do on the side. And sometimes the guys who make the episodes put those creative characters in the backgrounds. And so in this episode in particular, there was a Master Shake, a Frylock, and a Meatwad character in the background, for a scene, for like a moment. And that was enough to get me to check it out, just out of pure curiosity. So it's amazing how you find things. That's the moral of the story. You never know where the internet's going to lead you.
Fair.
That is the wildest thing I've ever
heard. Craig, top that.
I can't.
Okay.
I have nothing to top that with. I think for me, I've just been consuming lots of Gundam stuff because I've making up for all the time I didn't pay attention to it. I was into Gundam in my 20s and built a few models. And I got back into it hardcore like a couple years ago and
build a model.
I've really enjoyed it. The model kits and the anime and the manga. I just finished up my Origin collection, the hardcover books.
Those getting harder to
12
find.
volumes. You can find them at eBay still reasonably for like $20 a volume, which are nice thick hardcover books. Beautiful cartooning, just amazing stuff. Like, I know I always kind of like tune out when you guys talk about manga and stuff like that, just because I haven't been as into it. But I'm really on the boat with the Origin stuff, just because it's just amazing to me, the level of cartooning and the sheer volume of pages put out. And then from there, I jumped into Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, which is also like
Thunderbolt's
21.
So good.
It's so good, and the manga is so good. I've got the 21 volumes of that. I just ate those all up, and they're still coming out.
You watch the anime, right?
Yeah.
Is there a lot more manga? Is there a lot more manga after the anime events?
Yeah, the anime goes through like maybe volume 4 or 5, and
Is that all?
They're on volume 21 right now.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, I need
it's
to catch
amazing.
up. I need to catch up on the manga because I don't think they're going to follow up the anime anytime soon, unfortunately.
No, they're not.
Because it's really good.
It really is. It's really sucked me in where I like enjoy it more than most American comics at this point.
It's the manga way.
Yeah, Mongo
And
will do
then
it.
my son and I have just been building kits. Right now, my favorite show is Gundam Zeta, which I don't know.
Second one.
It's the continuation of the original.
Yeah, I hear
It
that
has a
one's-
lot of cool suits.
because it's an 80s sequel. It's very well animated, and it's a lot better looking than the original. And
And it's very much like an Empire Strikes Back versus Star Wars, where you come into the middle of things and things are all flipped around. The good guys are the bad guys become the good guys. It's
Fucking
very
fetties.
very cool. Yeah, and it's just an interesting story. There's a lot going on. You've got to watch it a couple of times to really get it. But yeah, it's fun. It's very, very cool. So it took me a while to get into like the whole Gundam thing, and now I'm like entrenched, and it's the more you know, the more enjoyable the sequels and all the other things that because they all tie together, you know.
Yeah,
So it's
and a lot of the spin-off stuff references the original, so the original, the Universal Century stuff, the references make a lot more sense. Especially those build fighter shows. Apparently, they're all like reference laden. They're also very good.
Now I've just stuck to there's just so much Gundam stuff. I've stuck to the Universal Century stuff, which is so. For you guys, if you don't know, there's all these different timelines and realities, different versions. But the Universal Century kind of builds off the original series.
Yeah, it's the main series. It's where all the sequels lie, and if you're gonna follow any
And
Gundam,
then-
it's probably the safest bet.
And then just with the model kits, I've been doing them for 2 years now and just kind of honing my craft. And the only thing I don't do is use a paint gun, just because I don't really have the space in my house. I don't have a garage or anything. But
You do all the
my
liner
son-
stuff.
Yeah, I do all the liners. I do spray paints like outside. I just don't have like a paint gun. But
An airbrush, you mean?
Yeah, I mean an airbrush. Yeah, but I do.
Thank you.
I do have some cans. Sorry, I do
I was
have
thinking
some.
Splatoon.
Yeah, no, sorry, airbrush. But I do use spray cans. I do a lot of like matte coating and gloss coatings and stuff. And we've got all these different tools, and I get all like crazy with it now. I only buy like water decals instead of using the like third party water decals instead of using like the stickers that come with the kits, and they just look nicer. So it's been cool. That's what I've been kind of doing.
It's awesome to fall into a passion that you had and to come back to it. It feels like coming home, right?
Yeah, I think what happens too is like for me, like having my son and him becoming like he's 10 now and being old enough to like appreciate and do that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool just to sit and build a model and like listen to the radio or a record or something. And,
I've done it.
And have quiet time.
It's really therapeutic sometimes, just having something small to tinker with.
I think it's
Can I
also
ask
good
you-
for like a 10-year-old too, that is like
Have something tactile to actually do.
to do and just something. Yeah, it takes like
Something to be precise with.
patience and concentration, and it's just not another screen and things screaming and going crazy.
You still keeping video games out of the kid's life a lot?
Yeah, we still only have like the PS2. We went back and we bought a bunch of like Gundam games from the PS2 because the PS2 actually has a good amount of Gundam games. So we play those. I mean, he plays the games like at his friend's house and stuff, but I think we might get a Switch eventually, especially with the Marvel Capcom games coming. Are they already out?
They're coming, but there is a trailer that I've shared on your wall. Even it's a new Gundam game they're making, and it's heavy on the customization.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, like I gotta fucking let Craig see this. Like, so I think you guys would love that. The funny thing is, the change in my life is my girlfriend has a 13-year-old son, and like I guess like I changed my opinion to where I was like, oh, Craig, you gotta let him play video games. It's like, dude, no, you know what? Cherish it. Because, like, at 13, all he wants to do is play video games. Like, he doesn't really give a shit about almost anything else. And it's like, you know what, buddy? You just keep on building Gundam kits and play your play.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as you give him, like, a time period. But a lot of his friends, like, that's all they want to do. And so he's, like, playing Little League and trying other things. And, you know, there'll be plenty of times for video games. So, you know, I'm not going to be able to control that forever. And I don't want to, you know. You should have that experience. But
enjoy it. Enjoy that time.
Anyway, what are we here for? What is this podcast about?
Savage Dragon.
Savage S-Cast, right?
Yeah.
Yo, I will say it's good catching up with you guys. You know why? Because I don't think our listeners want to catch up with us. I think
they don't want to lick us either.
I think that if we had a FINTERESTING topic, should Eric do more to take advantage of the latest retro 90s comic craze, and if so, how? The resounding answer was
meh.
Less than meh.
Crickets and silence.
No. So,
it's been a few weeks, and we didn't get any mail, so how about that?
We'll take it under advisement. We think we got one that's more FINTERESTING for you this time, don't we?
I think so, yeah.
Question, you guys. The new FINTERESTING conversation topic. That old one was shitty. That was a joke. We were just kidding, of course. That's not.
Can you believe they fell for it? They fell for it.
Got pranked.
That's not what we really wanted to know. What we really wanted to know is what character in the series or spin-offs was the most squandered potential. The most meat left on the, plate. The most money left on the table. And I'm dying to hear what you guys think, because I feel like that's kind of like maybe the theme of this episode.
It's hard, because there's been a lot of characters that have come where I can't wait to see what Eric does with this guy, and then they're dead.
Yeah.
Or so you're asking us which one is most squandered.
Or maybe even the other case where a character is introduced and then we don't see them for a long time. And then it's too late.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So, does anyone want to take point on this one?
Seeker! No, I'm not going to go to the easy one this time. Although Seeker could have been used better, I will say that. I guess I said it. Oops.
It's okay. We all know how you feel.
We all predicted you'd be saying Seeker.
It's like me and the sex topic. At this point, we don't need to really go into it, right?
All right, then I'll go to my other standby answer just to kick this off. I don't think Neutron Bob has hit his full potential yet. I think he's because last we saw him, he was actually depowered, and we never really found out if he ever got his powers back from his mom. So that could be a potential squandered moment, even though currently it's more of an outstanding moment. But so I always go back, because as I often want to say, I started reading Savage Dragon around issue 90, and and through that retake beat Cyberface Save the World period. And one of the things that always kind of stuck with me is right at the very end, Bob comes up to Dragon and says, "Hey, we did it. What's my reward?" And Dragon goes basically, "There is no reward. You're a hero. Be good." And I always thought Bob should have been a more bigger deal as like a reformed villain. And we do see a little bit of that, especially during like the Kerr period, where he's basically a hero of Detroit. And of course, it gets mixed up with Kill Cat and Kid Avenger and all that. But I don't know. I like the character a lot. And he's got like 3 maybe major appearances, 4 maybe at most. And I just think he's kind of been squandered. I think he could have been a bigger deal. He seems like the kind of character SOS could use, let's just say.
Yeah.
Big blue, loud jacket. Scott didn't die for him.
Drives a cool car, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he does
Now
have a cool
imagine
car.
him wearing like stars and stripes on his costume now, like a flamboyantly patriotic jacket instead.
I'm not even sure that's a
In
rule
the
now.
SOS.
I don't think any of the other characters are forced to wear the patriotic costumes like in the old days.
I guess not. Yeah, Malcolm's not. He's not going to get a costume at all, is he?
Probably not. And I mean, neither of the Jannies or the Johnson twins wear anything like that. It's just Angel. And that's the costume she's always had.
I guess you're right.
I guess there's no dress code in this version of the SOS, which,
No. All right.
to be fair, is better. But that's...
Ska coat on then, Bob.
Yeah. Mix it up Boston style. Come on.
He loves his mom. And
Pick it up.
He's gone. I'll take up the second spot on this FINTERESTING conversation. And maybe it's a cheat, but I'm going to say my squandered potential character, fucking North Force. So, like, to me, North Force came and they were an exciting presence. Like, you had all these cool new characters with cool new looks, and they were interesting personalities, and I thought they had interesting dynamics. You know, like the old lady that becomes like the, you know, hot blue skin character, you know, and it's like, these were all very cool, like, they were cool characters. And, you know, we saw them do like a fight with Thor. You know, we saw them take off and go to another planet with Captain Tootsie in a backup. But, like, to me, here was this basically, like, team of kick-ass designs and kick-ass, like, just, again, like, loads of potential. Loads of potential in these characters. This team. This is the first new team since, like, the fucking SOS. Like, there haven't really been, like, teams in the book, right? And, like, he comes and he introduces a whole team, and then they fucking leave Canada. And it's just like, this is North Force, so there's no real reason to think that North Force would be, you know, in San Francisco all that often. So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, they feel like it was an opportunity that came and went. And
yeah, they got North Force Zero too.
Yeah,
Like
it felt like they were going to be a real big deal.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is
You
they
know,
were kind of
they
built up.
they felt built up, but at the same time, they also felt like an afterthought with Eric just giving them like the sports teams' names.
Yeah, I'm not
And
going to
it's
lie.
like,
They were a little undercooked, in my opinion. More could be done with them for sure. I mean, I like them. I like the Knight as much as the next guy.
You got the Knight, you got the Canadian, you got the fucking were girl, like that becomes a giant goddamn like Yeti, and like it's just so fucking cool. A bear, I mean a giant goddamn bear with cool glasses. I mean it's just so, they were like, I thought there was loads of potential there, and it's like, I don't know,
They all got origins and backstories that we had little bios for.
yeah.
And as far as
No, it's a good one.
as far as I can tell, it's like, okay, well, they're up in fucking space, and like even Captain Tootsie, like, I mean, almost like a bonus, like a fucking bonus squandered. It's like fucking North Force sucked so hard they sucked the life out of goddamn Captain Tootsie. So it's just like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
That's a really good answer.
I think with North Force is like a lot of cases where it's not so much that their potential it's not that their potential is fully squandered, because they're still too new for that. But as time goes on and they don't appear in the book, their potential becomes more and more squandered.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing, is that, like, you know, not to be cruel, but I don't see it happening. I don't think they're gonna get used.
It's exactly like you said. They're kind of Canada specific, and now that we're no longer there, yeah, they're not gonna be as relevant as they would have been.
Right.
Unless there's
So,
some
yeah.
significant change.
For me, North Force, squandered potential.
Well,
Do you have anything, Craig?
yeah, I'm gonna go with Baby Boom. No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm gonna say Thunderhead.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
I think-
yes,
Yeah.
dude.
You don't like his
I
little
think-
noodle arms?
He started off really, really cool, and then just turned into like, just the rando brother-in-law. Like
It's-
never. Like, it's amazing how much it changed. Like, and I feel like the last time we saw him really cool was in Raven's Backup, where he was like hitting on Angel. I thought something was gonna go there. He's all muscular and ripped, and then he just ends up screwing Maxine's mom. And
Now that I don't
Coming.
mind so much, but it is wild that he's not like the quote unquote Rock of the new SOS.
yeah,
Like the one guy that Malcolm can rely on.
Yeah, that would be a good role for him.
I want to see sleeveless Thunderhead ripped like he used to be. No more of this like sweater vest, fucking Mr. Rogers Thunderhead. What a waste of potential. Such a
I
cool
can't-
looking character.
I can't even remember the last time I've seen him even in like a background holiday shot.
His dad's skull face, his mom's rapture. He's a badass character.
Yeah, he's a half brother for Malcolm. There, you think they would have some kind of? He's got a better relationship with Paul than he does with.
I do get why he's used, and it's kind of cool. Like, he's this like blue skull, evil looking guy, but he's just kind of like it's kind of a cool dichotomy where he's just kind of a normal dude. I think that
He's
is cool.
living the life that Skullface always wished he could have had.
Yeah, and
Right.
yeah.
I
But
think
even, like-
also something squandered about him is because of his appearance. There's a lot of stories you could be telling about how we did get stories about how hard his life is,
Right.
just because of how he looks.
And that is cool. Like, he just wants to be like a fucking clerk somewhere, and like they just let him go all the time just because they can't handle his looks and shit like that. But that would be cool stories for even him to become evil again.
I mean, he would always
But,
have
yeah.
reason.
I just think he's something more could have been done with him. He's an interesting character,
Yeah.
and that's probably my choice. I have a couple others, but I don't want to steal any.
Potential email responders. Hint, hint. Wink, wink.
Yeah, or someone
We'll
else. if
write
they
them
have
in
any.
and send them to the show then. 'Cause I'd like to hear them.
My name is Mr. Black. I thoroughly enjoy the FinCast.
This is Greg Golson.
That ought to fool them, yes. Well,
How about-
James.
Well, how about you, Mark? You got one more to waste? Slot to waste?
You know what? You brought this. This was brought up before we started recording, and I've been trying to think of. And I don't know. There's a lot. I keep thinking of just cool visuals that I wish we would have seen more of, like the Chained Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I thought was going to be awesome.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
Ray-
that was a
guys
big
that we
one
saw.
where it was like womp womp.
Yeah, he had a cool little story going on, but it was like, here he
One and
is.
done.
there he
And now he's
goes.
done because I don't want to draw chains anymore. Probably, I don't blame him. But there's been so many characters that have come. Who else? Oh,
There's
my
a
gosh.
big villain that lasted like a few. Like we thought he was gonna be the next big thing. Remember Scourge?
Scourge.
Yeah, Scourge.
Like he was all ready to be set up for like the next major villain, and it was like,
Yeah.
he's not working out.
He's like, hey, he looks stupid, and killed him. And I'm like, God damn, he look cool.
Yeah, it's weird. There's so many, because I think the book needs some kind of main villain, at least for a while. And
I got a
I
good
don't know
one.
who we have right now. It's just Mr. Glum, I guess. But
Wasted potential, Dave.
oh yeah,
Mm.
he was in one panel.
Oh, right. The Dave you keep
That
coming
big
back to.
robot.
And people say I've got problems with the Seeker.
Jimbo
Yeah.
the Mighty Lobster.
I think I'm gonna go with Demon Seed, who was in Jim Lee's
Yes,
Savage
good
Dragon
one.
13.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in goddamn.
Where's he been, Eric?
Oh, you know,
been,
I thought
Jim
I
Lee?
thought you were talking about the other guy. What was the other guy from Dimension X? Is that Death Seed or?
Death Seed? Yeah, yeah.
I thought he was kind of like. I thought he was gonna be bigger than he was.
Wait,
He's kind of like an
do I
Annihilus
push-
character.
Yeah, Nihilus, right. And I mean, his legacy lived on because Rex Dexter became him for a while. But yeah,
I would even encourage readers, or listeners, if you want to get specific into a thing like Old Man Dragon, you can be like, Old Man Dragon was fairly squandered. Because we never did get that mentor relationship with Malcolm.
when you say Old Man Dragon, you mean depowered dragon?
Yeah, depowered prisoner dragon.
Average dragon. It
Average
has a name.
dragon. Yeah, you can even get specific, I think, into like eras like that if you want. Just because it's like, obviously Dragon was a character who was utilized very well in Savage Dragon. But if you think about, like, it took Paul being reintroduced before we got the promised dynamic of Malcolm getting mentored by an older dragon. It's still not really being mentored by Paul. Like, Paul comes and helps watch the kids, but...
Also being creepy. Wear my dad's face, not his fin.
Fair.
I think the book, just in general, has had some very, very good characters that could all easily have their own book and could use some more spotlight, just in general. And I'm sure we could come up with a million of them if we thought about it long enough.
Well, I think
But I am interested to hear what other people have to
Eric's
say.
always been kind of carefree with his characters. I think he's always been of the opinion that he can always create new ones.
Right. Yeah. I don't
And
know.
then he does. Yeah.
So, like, you've heard what we think. Like, Craig, tell them where they can send their thoughts.
Well, you can send your thoughts to savagefincast@gmail.com. You can answer this FINteresting conversation. You can create your own question and pose to us, and we'll share that on our next show if it passes the sniff test. Or you can do both. Give us an answer and create your own. Again, savagefincast@gmail.com. Let's hear what you guys have to think about it.
Yes, please do. We need the content, so I don't talk about Battle for Dream Island again.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
sure.
Wild.
I'm sure they love that.
I loved it.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I didn't know what you were talking about half the time, but I was loving the journey.
I actually did love it. Yeah, so thank you for sharing.
I'm probably not going to follow up and look into it, but
I don't recommend it unless you got a lot of time commitment.
I looked at the character designs while you were talking, but I think that's as far as I'm going to go.
I feel like I smell something cooking.
It's true. It's a familiar fragrance.
We
Wouldn't
call
you
it
say?
an odor.
An aroma.
That's
Although,
what. Yeah.
wouldn't you say that
Comforting.
there's something in this meal that feels squandered? I think these meat and potatoes, they need more seasoning. The potential has not been unleashed in this particular serving of meat and potatoes.
Uh-oh, shall we talk about it?
Let's dig right in. Savage Dragon 271, baby, while a universe trembles.
Yeah, this one just felt like a series of unsatisfying conclusions.
Interesting.
The story you never expected to read.
All right.
I certainly did not expect some of the stuff we see in here.
Right.
Well, we can be kind too. I mean, you can be loving and be critical at the same time. This opening splash page is just goddamn dynamite.
There's
One
so
of the
much
best
weird,
splash
like,
pages.
Walt Simonson stuff going on
Yes.
in there. Yeah, it's crazy. I love it.
It's okay. So the most interesting element on here it's a great page. I love it. Yeah, great, fantastic. low detail naked Maxine is very funny to look at.
You don't find those square nipples arousing?
Not particularly. I just find it very funny. A lot of these background characters are pretty funny too in their low detail designs, and you get to see John Day's penis. That's always fun.
I love the dragon character. This is one of my favorite single splash pages I've seen in a while. Like, maybe not. I don't know. There's been so many good ones lately, but this is just, to me, is another great one. I love the Walt Simonson kind of weird, crazy hatches like all over the place.
Artists,
Thick
does it distract you that there's like this straight bit in the arm, in the forearm, right front and center, that goes from the elbow to the wrist?
Oh, like the rectangle?
I guess it's supposed to be it's supposed to be like the tendons, I guess, stretched out, is what I would guess.
Mark, go for it.
No, I think it looks fine.
It's fine.
Eric draws that forearm bone, I guess the elbow bone. I don't know anatomy. But he does draw it a lot like that sometimes, but it's never looks this weird with the rendering on that.
Yeah.
The way he does it here. But I can see what you mean when you point it out, but it doesn't bother me at all. The Raven,
Dude,
I don't know, what do you think?
I love everything about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree. I'm not bothered by it at all. I think that there's a lot of... he's not being a slave to anatomy. He's just doing things that look visually interesting. And that forearm is part of the most prominent thing being rendered on the page. And it would have been real easy to do it more standard, more traditional. Instead, you've got something cool to look at. It's just this big straight pipe right up the middle with almost like a pupil of an eyeball to the left and the right of it, but it's the whole thing is just so fucking it's hatching rich, dude.
To me, it looks so good. I wish we could
see this page without the title.
Yeah.
I want to see what's underneath. I want to see that whole hand.
Yeah. It just, to me, it's how does he even come up with that kind of hatching, and make it work? I can see so many people trying to attempt to hatch like this and it looking like complete dog shit. But I don't know. It just, there's something. It doesn't look natural, but it looks perfect to me.
Yeah, you're putting.
I think it's.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're 271 issues in, and then Eric's still finding new things to do.
Yeah. In
interesting ways, and I don't know. I'm seeing it's so much Simonson to me.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first thing when I texted you, Mark, when we were looking at it. I was like, you see that? And it was you took the words right out of my mouth. It's
design and just interesting lines over trying to render something realistically or anatomically correct.
And nobody does foreshortening like Larson. He's just a master of it. Crazy. This is such a dynamic, first page. Just pops right out.
I wish there was more of this in the rest of the book, honestly.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought the whole thing was going to look like this.
This is a strong opening.
Yeah.
Does it not?
No, not really. A lot of the rest of the issue looks mostly like his normal stuff. There's some hints of that. Those weird lines.
Wait, when you say Simonson, you mean how he's kind of boxy? Maybe.
Simonson does those kind of hatch, those lines like that. Okay. The hatching,
those weird
that.
Lines.
That's very Simonson. I don't know anyone else that does it like that.
Right.
Even on the double page splash after this too, it looks like Simonson inked it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's cool is it's kind of like what Craig alluded to is you look at some of the things on that double page splash on Malcolm's leg, the one that goes right under the word Bram, that big circular arc of cross hatching that goes almost in orbit around Malcolm's knee. none of that is really defining anything real or practical. It's
Right.
all style. It's no substance, but god damn it, it looks visually great.
It does make the
It's a
leg
lot
look.
of fun.
It does make the leg look more visually interesting because I did notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, man, we might be busting Eric's chops on like, storyline resolutions here, but like you can't take a thing away from him on art. God damn.
Yeah, it's great.
So this double page splash. Yeah, in the background we see a Ninja Turtle, of course.
Ultron.
But Voltron?
Ultron.
Oh, Ultron. Oh yeah, I guess it is Ultron's head over there. But if you check the image podcast channel, does the rabbit look familiar? I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm assuming you guys know Paul Grist Kane. It's probably yeah. You might not actually, but I think that's the rabbit from Kane by Paul
really?
Grist.
Oh, maybe.
There are lots of common characters in this, and there's one that even Nikos didn't color that I caught. We'll see if you guys catch him later when we get there.
It could also be the suit from A Christmas Story, the bunny suit.
Could be.
Could be.
Who do you think the robot is behind the guy with like the glasses?
It does kind of look specific, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't see him either.
I think it's just a random.
made-up robot. Yeah.
Well, fuck me then. Just kidding.
No, I think it's a reference too, but I couldn't pinpoint it if I tried.
Plex from Yo Gabba Gabba. I don't know.
Any rate, absolutely fucking kick-ass opening splash followed with a kick-ass double page splash. Like, hell yes.
Yeah, it's the 1-2 punch right there.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about Mickey Mouse's life-saving abilities?
I thought the squid was a little much.
Yeah. And is that involuntary? What the fuck?
He's a freak.
Like, is his fingers going into her?
Yes.
Yes.
It's what you are to assume.
That is why.
It's hard to tell because he's solid black and you can't quite make it all out. But oh my gosh, yeah, I just realized his other hand is reaching around and grabbing a tit.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He's got some long fucking arms.
Yeah, he's a cartoon.
It is funny when she punches him and he looks like he's almost like 2D, like his head.
Right.
The body language on Malcolm in the back is easy to overlook, but it's great too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool pose.
In that first panel.
Yeah.
Not a cool pose, but it's a very dynamic pose, especially if you like get get a punch up from the back.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of feels like he's like getting knocked backwards a bit, and he's like holding his balance up.
I really love when we get like the shots of like Malcolm fighting from behind. Like when Eric draws like dragging on Malcolm's back, always looks freaking awesome. He does a good job.
Yeah, and
There's
you guys
also
are right.
a lot of.
Oops, sorry. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say that I do love the cartooning on Mickey Mouse getting punched, like the way his little arms are stretching forward. It really sells the rubbery cartoony. Like that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
We had discussed on a previous episode about like cartoon physics
Right.
and like pulling a hammer out of like a small sack or something. I was thinking about that. We don't see any of that in here, but I don't know how much of that actually Mickey Mouse ever really was involved in.
Yeah, he's not that kind of. He's not
especially
really
those
that.
older ones.
He's
yeah.
not that kind of a cartoon character, really. He's not.
Yeah.
Usually, the ones who are pulling stuff out of hammer space are like mischievous ones, like Bugs Bunny.
But does he have like cartoon physics, like when he's getting punched here or stretch or his arms stretching, or is that just?
Yeah, I think.
Is he supposed to
especially,
just
like,
be
in those
like
old black and white ones? He's like it's a lot of squash and stretch, kind of rubbery.
Yeah, modern
physics.
Modern kids have dubbed it rubber hose.
I think Craig's asking, is that the case here?
Here,
in the
like,
comic?
is he supposed to just be like a mutant rat, or is he like kind of a cartoon?
I think it's supposed to be left up to your imagination. I think he's like I think he's an actual cartoon character who just lives among us.
Roger Rabbit style.
Yeah, exactly.
Ink and paint.
It's just a thing that happens, and it's just this is the first time we're encountering it.
I think we're just not supposed to think about it too much.
Yeah.
I can support. What's funny is I can't get too upset about that, like, suggestion though, Jim, because it's kind of like the speaking of squandered potential, the hollow earth full of giant ants and dwarves and everything else.
Yeah.
Like, apparently we're to take it that that's always how it was, and it's like we didn't learn that until way into the book, and so it's
Right.
kind of like, yeah, also cartoon characters walk around. It's cool. I don't care.
Right.
I can accept it.
Do you think Mickey's actually saying that he saved her life, or he's just trying to deflect? Because I actually get the feeling that he's actually such a narcissist that he actually believes what he's saying.
Nah, it's
No?
bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because he says sweet in the double page spread. Like, in the double page spread, he's like, oh shit, yeah, there's my opportunity.
Right.
And
yeah.
then he acts on it. So I'm thinking that this is just, he's not doing
It's
life
just
saving.
gaslighting her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
To
She
me,
wasn't-
he's just a fucking creep,
Oh, he's absolutely a creep. But just where Maxine's posed, where the action with Malcolm and the what's his face are, it seems like she's in actual peril, and he may be pushing her out of danger, coincidentally.
I don't think
No,
so.
he just saw an opportunity to grab some bits, and now he's using it as an excuse. That's what creeps do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the what was that Seinfeld episode when you stop short in the car to grab a tit. It's just an excuse to grab some boobs.
But Maxine just laying it out, plain and simple. You can be naked. It's not an invite, Mickey Mouse. You prick.
As she's oozing on Batman's head.
What do you guys think? We've been critical of like sound effects with too thin a line work. We're not fans of sound effects that look too stickery.
Mhm.
I feel like Squid and Pow ride the line.
Yeah, I agree.
What about Wang?
Pal, I'm not so bad about because it's behind the art, but Squid definitely looks
Right.
more like it's out
Yeah.
of place. Unfortunately.
Wang,
But it's a little squid, maybe.
Wang's okay. Wang has that wavy, line work that we like.
It's that wavy wang we all love. Yeah.
We're all fans with.
Is that going to be the title of this episode? The wavy wang?
The wavy Wang. And how do you like
It is
dude,
now.
We just segue from like punch to punch. It's just an ass kicking opening, like
That
My-
guy
Max-
is so fucking lucky his head didn't get paffed.
right.
But thank
Yeah,
God it was
it's-
just tranquilizers. Oh, thank God.
Oh yeah, no joke. Tyrone looks fucking awesome in his panel. You didn't have
Yeah,
to kill
there's
him.
a lot of really good cross-hatching lines that are here. In addition to like the Walt Simonson stuff that he's doing. But like
It's
these tiny little cross-hatching. That reminds me of like Sam Keith.
Yeah.
it's weird seeing a dragon character with his fin cropped off. He looks so human.
I like his teeth.
Yeah.
Like I like the way
Yeah.
his teeth are done.
The gritting teeth panel two.
Yeah, you didn't have to kill
He
him.
looks like young Malcolm with the flannel
Oh, yeah.
shirt,
Yep.
It's awesome.
Raiden is
Like
Why
when
this one had to
Malcolm
be
was
red.
pummeling Dark Lord, Damien Dark Lord.
Yeah.
he was ready to kill. You know he was.
Mm-hmm.
He's pissed. He killed his friend.
And again, Paul, love the body language on Paul there, scooting on up the bridge.
Yeah. His famous
The,
Dragon 76 jersey.
Climbing up the bridge strings. Is that what we decided they were called?
Yeah.
Make them your own. I'm not.
Question: Dragon 76. What is that? Is that the year Paul was made?
I was wondering about that, thinking about it.
I think that was Eric's foot number when he played high
Football
school
jersey
football.
number, yeah. I think that's what he
Okay.
said.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely created a dragon, or at least the prototype dragon, before 76, because he started publishing comics in like 82, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what year he started.
He would have been a kid a lot earlier than that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Here we have Angel confronting the world's worst actor.
The world's the worst human, worst pretend human. I have human emotions, beep boop. That's how Glum talks. I don't hear Darth Vader when I hear Glum in my head.
Let's break out of here, baby.
I was
Break out
just
of this-
defending myself, kiddo.
We can find some place to hide while we're on the lam. It's like, oh boy.
Not how he fucks up like super easy. I mean, she really should have figured this out a lot sooner. But maybe he just didn't. She didn't talk to him very much.
You think she would have noticed initially because they would have different fuck styles?
Wait a minute. May I propose?
Just getting laid over the wedding cake.
May I propose a new title for the episode? Different fuck styles. Wait a minute. You don't fuck the same as before.
Right.
I'm just glad she figured it out because holy shit, was that annoying me.
Right.
Yeah, Glum is apparently just as terribly stupid at this as we thought he would be.
At least
Like
he didn't grind up anybody in a garbage disposal.
literally the honeymoon is over.
Like, do you think Glum had a plan?
No.
At all?
He's Glum. He never has a plan.
Or was it just like, I'll get it, take his body, and then I'll figure it out from there?
She'll be mine. The end. What could possibly come
Right.
after that?
Yeah.
Thing is, Glum's vain. I can't imagine he likes being frank.
He tries to remake the planet in the shape of Frank's head.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot more work. This guy's got a lot more features than me.
Just mostly just looks like everyone else that lives here.
What do you guys fucking think about this goddamn... Hello?
I'm here.
The
Oh, hi.
yeah, asking about the alpha male.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Alpha Male's dialogue here? The homosexuals.
I think after it's revealed who he is, I've read his dialogue a lot differently than I did initially.
Yeah, he's definitely a kind of a fire and brimstone kind of guy. It's surprising. I mean,
Homosexuals,
he's really getting the best of Malcolm here with whoever made this fucking armor for him.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Launches Malcolm into that building and just gets stuck up there.
Yeah.
This is awkward. Wiggle his feet. Wiggle, wiggle.
Yo, guess what? Speaking of potential, previously squandered yet utterly redeemed, yo, it's our boy the Bay Guardian.
During Pride
Splang.
Month of all times.
Yeah.
I know, dude. It's like he planned it.
Right.
Does Bay Guardian have powers, or is he a finesse guy? I'll be honest. If you have seen so little of him, I'm not even sure.
I gotta imagine he's got super strength and flight or something. If you have a cape, don't you have to be able to fly? Isn't that like a rule?
Well, Super Patriot didn't.
And Batman.
Yeah, Super
Batman.
Patriot flew for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh,
He
in
took,
Youngblood.
took those pills and he farted his way to flight.
That's it. Batman glides, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
That's
does.
true.
He
Batman.
does pretend to be a bat.
Yeah, he glides about.
He's a furry.
Well, I just looked up on the wiki, and it says that Beta Guardian's powers are super strength, and that's all it has.
Dot, dot, dot.
Although strength Strength is spelled incorrectly, though, so maybe it means something differently.
I'm glad he showed up. I mean, I was waiting for him to make an appearance because he is supposed to be like the premier San Francisco superhero, right?
As I recall, he was injured previously, which is why we haven't seen him until now. Think he broke his leg at some point? Maybe I'm making that up.
He was in 245 and 250. He was in a backup in 250. What was the backup that he was in?
Oh, that was probably the Kill Cat thing that keeps repeating itself.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of those guys.
Okay.
The double page? Yeah, I'm not sure.
You're one of them.
Yeah.
So here we do finally get this guy's name though. Alpha male, considering the dialogue, is too funny. Like that's a good name, right?
Yeah.
Because we kind of had the whole thing. We're like, well, what do you guys think we should call this guy? Like, Stars Man? Like, you know, like we didn't know, like we were taking our shots in the dark. Alpha male is kind of perfect.
It's a pretty good name.
Libtard.
But Bay Guardian's doing, but as much of a bad time as he was giving Malcolm, he's taking it pretty good from Bay Guardian too.
Mm-hmm.
So how strong is Bay Guardian?
I mean, not strong enough in the end, as we see, but
I kind of
still.
got that. Took it as he got the drop on him, and then from basically
Just
then
got
on,
one good hit.
he's on defense most of the time.
Well, he got a splang in.
You got a lot of splang to do.
Not anybody gets a full splang.
He dodged a fumph.
And a tune.
Before we
he's
get
just strong and agile, yeah.
before we get into his his fate, how do you guys feel about Alpha Male's motivation? It's just he hates. He's a hate monger, so he comes out and he hurts the people he hates.
It seems about right with the times. Like,
And it also makes sense for the setting. Like, if you're going to have San Francisco, which
Right.
is a notoriously, liberal and open and diverse community, what kind of villain are you going to have in that area that makes a lot of sense?
in the middle of an event where people are running naked and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's a good setting for him. I can't imagine a more perfect setting for this guy to show up, honestly.
Yeah, that's it. This is where he is.
Yeah.
All right. On this page, do you guys see the secret comic book character?
Superman?
Secret.
No, not this page. The next one. Get away from me, you slobbering psychopath.
The one with Maxine running away?
Yeah.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
Close. Very
Captain
close.
America.
Well, I see Captain America and what looks like Flaming Carrot.
Flaming
Flaming
carrot,
Carrot.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he clearly got past Nikos. Nikos was coloring all those comic characters. He didn't get the flaming carrot.
Oh, right. I see him now.
Better luck next time, Nikos. Woo!
He miscolored the bottom of the carrot, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. The carrot is colored like grass, and the guy's arm in front of the carrot is also colored like green. So Nikos just interpreted it as the crowd was coming up between those two figures.
Right.
But the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the bottom of the carrot's head and that guy's arm are green when they should be purple.
Gotcha.
Putting you on notice there, Nikos.
No,
if you're listening, and I know you are.
I just love the little extras, though. And it's funny because I don't think Flaming Carrot... We've seen a million Ben Grimms. We've seen Spider-Man, Batman, plenty of times. This is probably the first Flaming Carrot, right?
No, I think
was
he
at
was
the
in the
wedding.
wedding
He
issue.
was at the
Was
wedding.
He's at the
wedding?
wedding.
I
All
think
right, well,
so.
I mean, we haven't seen him in a long time.
Barbaric wedding, I think.
Yeah, in issue 41.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mickey Mouse's creepy smile and why resist your desires, give in to your urges in that panel.
Creeper. Why, Mickey? Why you gotta do this?
Could question. So it's no secret we're not overly thrilled of some of the resolutions of this. Could more have been done with Mickey and Maxine's dialogue? Like, do you feel like we get a little number one at the box office? Like a little, could there have been done something a little jazz it up a little bit? Like, did you guys get, like, were these fulfilling for you pages? Like, I know they're cool visually, but I'm saying, like, this Maxine and Mickey Mouse, like, pursuit sequence, it eats up a decent amount of pages in the issue. Do you think we could have maybe had a little bit more, or?
I mean, this is kind of the plot. I mean, the fight is actually just kind of dressing for this. To get Malcolm out of the way so that this can go on.
Do you feel like, though, like, this is covered ground with Mickey Mouse?
No,
like I'm saying, like we did this last issue.
I mean, we did, but this is kind of the climax of it. So this is the real conflict, not this punch up fake conflict.
Fair.
At least in my opinion.
Are you saying,
Right,
like,
as you're reading it, you know there's going to be, this is the issue, it's got to be, where there's going to be some kind of final stance on this.
Yeah. At least that's the impression I got while reading it.
Fair.
Now, granted, I kind of thought it was going to go a different way than it did, but yeah. Of course, we got like, what we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 plot lines going on in this book right now, which, I'll be honest, that's great. I love that. I love it back when Savage Dragon had many plots going on at once, not just 1 or 2.
Yeah. The pacing on this issue is good. It feels like Savage Dragon pacing, where you're cutting between this story, that story, that story. Where, like you said, there's 4 stories going on at the same time.
Yeah. That's when Dragon's at its best.
Agreed.
Yeah. You get, what is it? There's
the fight with Alpha Male. And then there's
Alpha Male, there's Mickey Mouse, there's
Glum and Maxine, and then we get Walter on the bridge.
Walter on the bridge. Is there another one?
Well, Glum and Angel, you mean?
Yeah.
Right. No,
Glum,
I think it's
Angel.
just the 4.
I guess that's it. But that's still plenty.
It is.
Yeah, that's more than enough right there.
And technically Frank and Dimension X.
Well,
that's
right.
true too.
That's right. There's 5. Yeah.
Frank and Angel.
Yeah.
Glum,
Which, to me, again, like, that's still, like, the things with Angel and Frank are the most interesting bits, like, currently. Like, I love the fucking idea that the fucking Glum planet can, like, explode its eyes into, like, a giant beam. Like, that is fan-fucking-tastic. Because I don't think we've seen that before, have we?
No.
No.
I don't
No.
recall.
Is it just sending off a signal, or is it going to be can it propel?
Well, I think it's damage because we kind of see it destroying some debris.
Yeah.
So I think it's a weapon.
Is that where the title of this issue comes from? Because I can't find any other reason.
Right. Yeah, what a promising
While
title.
a universe trembles. What?
What a promising title to honestly go nowhere with.
I mean, and honestly, a lot of the characters on the cover aren't even in this issue.
They are.
Right. Yeah.
None of the other SOS characters show up.
And while we're at it, I mean, while we're picking the nits, because that's what we're doing here, folks, I think even some of the, like, dialogue oversold, unfortunately, what happens. Stay back. You know how dangerous he is. He's not. It isn't possible. He can't be here. Not here. Well, it seemed when I originally read this like Mickey Mouse was going to be somewhere he should not be.
Right.
Kind of seems like he was in Beta Breakers where anybody can go.
It's just a public place.
And then why doesn't he stop? Why does he keep coming? It seemed to me as I read that like Mickey Mouse was going to be some surprisingly unstoppable force.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So maybe
he's the It's Follows monster.
yeah. Dude, listen, no. Maybe it's on me, okay? But as I saw that cover, I was like, oh, he's going to do some interesting stuff. Like, Mickey Mouse is not going to be what we think. like he's gonna be some weird unstoppable force, and he's just
like the It Clown. It's just a projection from some alien creature or something.
I'm gonna
Nope.
be real with you.
Eric-
I thought.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm gonna be real with you. I expected him to be getting, receiving a lot of traditional Savage Dragon violence, and because he is a cartoon character, to just keep popping back.
Well, we didn't talk about the cover before, so nope, none of that. It's just Eric thought it would be cool to rip all of these phrases and boxes off other comics and throw them on this cover.
And the cover's an homage to like what? Mad
Wally,
Magazine
I think it's
cover?
a Wally Wood painting where Mickey is approaching some Marvel superheroes. I think. Let me see if I can dig it up. Let me see if I can dig it up real quick.
Yeah, we'll kill time while you do that. Basically,
It's also interesting on the cover. There's an arrow pointing at Mickey saying, "Look who's back." Not a surprise, as he was in the previous issue.
right. I mean, again, I'm sorry, but like, I know that I'm like kind of like being a bit of a Debbie Downer here. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it's like I feel a bit like we were sold kind of a more exciting yarn than what we got. Was all. I think that if any of that dialogue had fit within the continuity of this story, like if Mickey Mouse was an unstoppable force who was present in a place that he should not be able to be, and if he was in fact very dangerous, all of that would have been very like kick-ass.
No, Eric just likes
Causing the
comic
universe
books.
to tremble.
None of that happened, dude.
It's just hyperbole.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yes.
My honest opinion is I would have been fine with like his short first appearance where he kind of acted like a weirdo and it was like, haha, it's funny, you know, Steamboat Willie's public domain now and funny little joke. I didn't really need a couple of issues worth of Mickey Mouse. It's okay, but
Well, I
don't
think
know.
that's why it felt like it was going to be leading up to something bigger
Right.
instead of just a gag.
Right.
yeah.
Right. I mean, that's my whole thing is that like I actually liked it as a one-off gag, but then it kept going, and so it was like, oh hell, this is gonna build to something, and it's like, again, I hate to jump to the end of the review before we get there, but it does not. Very, very wet fart, like wah, wah, wah.
All right, check the recording channel. I've posted the image.
Yeah, it was like cartoons versus Marvel or something.
Yeah,
Was that from Mad Magazine or
I have no idea what the source is. Why you gotta ask me these questions?
What do you guys think? I think we touched about it on it last issue with like Frank sounding more and more like Glum.
In what regard?
Like he's like, I love you baby and things like that.
Well,
We
that's-
do know that Dimension X bodies can overtake the personalities of the original from Rex Dexter, right?
right. I forget the circumstances of that, but yeah, his like genetic code got rewritten.
He became a different kind of a guy.
Right. Became a
So,
bug
like-
man.
Frank doesn't seem like the type to call a planet a mud ball.
A wretched mudball.
Right. So, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
he's-
ought to do the trick. I love you, baby.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Frank Glum is starting to sound more like Glum Glum. I
Yes.
see. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying is that to me, this is the most interesting plot in the book right now. Because, yeah, Craig, I totally agree. Frank kind of seems like more glummy all the time.
Yeah.
It's good. I love the beacon. I love the idea that the beacon is both Frank's salvation and simultaneously going to draw all kinds of attention and danger down on their heads.
Yeah. In fact, you see a bunch of
That's-
Dimension X monsters in the foreground.
Yeah, that's just, but as a storytelling thing, like, that's such an economic, like, risk reward, like, storytelling beat. It's like if it would have been enough to be like, oh, we're going to turn on these lights. Hopefully Captain Tootsie will see us. That would have been enough. But, like, to throw in the thing, it's like, hope it doesn't attract the wrong kind of attention. And it's like you got the monsters closing in. So now it's not just a matter of will they get noticed or won't they. Now it's a matter of like, yeah, they better get noticed before they get destroyed.
Yeah, they're gonna get fucked.
I'm still hoping some of the characters from Paul's universe are in Dimension X or something, and they see the beacon.
Oh, it's good stuff. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, dude. Yeah, because even Paul had that thing where he thought Mako was his Mako.
Yeah.
So it's like we have the seed for that. Like that could be a thing.
Mako and Namor shorts.
Hey guys, it's me, Mako. You fucking idiot.
Good guy Mako. The Bronze Man.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude, so good. Faboosh, there's a cock.
It's pretty big.
Stop.
Is that the most prominent penis we've seen?
The most in the foreground, at least.
Most prominent human penis to date.
Well, yeah.
How cool is that one panel of like Malcolm like in the air, ready to just fucking
In the air,
drop
coming down on his head.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The old double
That's
axe
such
handle.
a cool panel.
Captain
Yes.
Kirk.
That's a real good one.
It's funny because like Malcolm, I don't know why I said that. Malcolm just in shorts is a surprisingly kick-ass visual.
Oh, he's doing that.
Yeah.
He's rocking the commandy look like his dad did.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, surprisingly, it works surprisingly well.
Well, it is, I would imagine, probably a lot hotter in San Francisco, too. Maybe this will be his new look.
His beta breakers look.
Short
is his new
shorts.
look.
His jorts.
Yeah.
Jorts and sneakers.
Gives him the old Brackathum.
I like. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You.
No, I was going to go to the next page. I've got more to say.
I'm just gonna say that I really do appreciate that we're still getting the choppy panels for action. Like the panel diversity is still very appreciated.
Yeah.
I'm done.
One thing I don't think we've talked about, which I do appreciate, is how Mickey never looks the same way twice.
Yeah.
I think that adds to his cartoon nature, and also makes him mildly unsettling, like in that half shot with his nose.
I don't think we've seen that kind of Mickey Mouse from an official Disney thing, right?
And a bit Mortimer Mouse right there.
I wonder if if it's Eric was looking at the older cartoons and he's grabbing these faces from him when they haven't quite figured out the model.
Definitely.
Or if Eric just is drawing it however the hell he wants.
Probably also that.
From panel to panel. Yeah.
But Mickey was pretty off model in Steamboat Willie. He kind of
Right.
definitely was not the clean standard look we all know and tolerate.
Right.
But
I mean, like, even within, like, the same shorts, if he was, because they didn't have him quite the model figured out yet, if he was just wildly off model from scene to scene, and those are not.
I don't know about that. I know he had striped pants
Yeah.
in the cartoon itself, but he did have the red shorts and promotional stuff.
I appreciate that Mickey Mouse is a void, and Eric makes good use of that for impact. Like in the in the splam shot, like that little like scratchy effect he's put on Mickey's head is fantastic. Likewise, if you jump backwards to where Maxine is punching Mickey, and the "Leave Me Alone" panel where Eric has used white Zipatone to have Mickey's arms and legs sort of fade. That's a cool effect. It's again, I like that he is making use of that void to make things visually interesting.
I like how creepy he looks while Maxine chokes the shit out of him. He's having a good time.
Yeah, he likes it. he's a freak.
She calls him a mutant cartoon rodent, so it doesn't really solve any of the questions we have about his nature. It covers all the bases. He's a rat. He's a rat, a mutant rat with the power of cartoon physics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a major motion picture star who can't get enough poon.
that last.
But also,
panel.
he's like an old man, also
Oh,
too, right?
that's. I think canonically he is hundreds years old.
He's an elderly mutant rat.
I like the bottom panel on the scene where the guy like the hairy beer belly is like kind of running.
Yeah, exactly. In the striped shorts.
Yeah.
And someone appears to be has a Guy and Duder shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a
There's
Thor.
Some Thor.
Walter yawning.
What a day I've had. Gotta love Amy just asking questions nonstop, like a child would.
And then he doesn't answer a single one of them like an adult would.
Yeah.
Younger than she is, but after all.
Just wait till they get worn out.
So, okay, I think we've gotten into like one of the first things about this issue none of us liked.
Yeah, not pleased with this. For one, though, Dusty Cooch is a hilarious name. But there's no build up to Dusty Cooch.
There is not,
Like,
and they could have, but they didn't.
It
It's
relies...
conservative talk show host and all around piece of shit, Dusty Cooch.
Yeah, we very much know who he is. He's Alex Jones, right? But
Right, yeah.
but there's no build up. Like the thing is, there was no Alex Jones figure in this.
Yeah,
skunk.
like right, getting people like I don't know, wound up against like Malcolm or Maxine or something, you know, like
Talking
none
about
of that
his
like
podcast about how they're coming to town and it's
right.
bad or something. I don't anything. Like our Richard Richards was built up for a while before he did his Dragon Slayer thing.
Right. And even there was another one. Who was it? It was I can't remember now. Sorry.
Fuck it.
I feel like there was another like personality who wound up. Oh well, like your ass. He's kind of a similar situation. He was built over a while before being revealed as Dread Knight. Right.
Yeah. No. What's funny is even if you want to say that Eric doesn't like to go to the same well, which we know he doesn't. You know, we know he's not a fan of been there, done that, and he does think of this work in terms of a whole body piece of work. So I could even see him saying to himself, well, there's no need to build up Dusty Cooch because it's just a R.R. Richards retread or something like that. The problem that I personally have is that to have Dusty Cooch come out of nowhere really just sort of robs his reveal of any kind of, like, it just doesn't mean anything. Like, you're literally... This guy's unmasked, and you're meeting him all in the same moment.
It's like a letdown. It's like,
I have to wonder, is there a legal reason you couldn't just use Alex Jones and just murder Alex Jones in your comic? Or is that not good?
well, I mean, they use presidents, so what's the difference?
I feel like
I'm
the
not
difference...
sure.
I feel like the difference is that you have someone who is very likely to sue for libel, even though we clearly know what's being referenced here. It's the Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Alex Jones railed against Sandy Hook people. And it's like, that's clearly what Malcolm's referencing. So it's hard to say it's defamation since didn't Alex Jones lose that?
Yes. Yep.
So it's like you can't really say, I don't know. I don't know why it wasn't just...
Maybe you can't say Alex Jones would go on a murderous rampage. Maybe that's bad.
Potentially, but like, wouldn't it have been more of a reveal if it was fucking actually just Alex Jones?
That's what I'm saying. If it was actually Alex Jones, then you get to skip all that setup because Alex Jones is a real personality.
Right. Yeah, I actually...
Do you think...
Go ahead.
Is there a possibility that he did originally want it to just be Alex Jones?
And then someone advised him against it.
And then someone advised him, or he changed his mind. He's like, I better.
He probably wouldn't admit that on the record if there was a legal problem with it. So it's probably one of those questions that will never be answered.
But
if it were revealed to have been Alex Jones, would this reveal have worked better?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess, but I feel like with Alex Jones, he's not as like overtly racist. Like he's into like conspiracy and like weird shit like that. But I don't think he ever says like racist shit
or he's
anything, right?
he's probably not this much of a religious nut either. I don't
right. I don't think
I,
he is. I don't know, but
Yeah, Alpha Male definitely seems like a Jesus freak.
there's that for sure.
so I think you could have a problem with trying to like frame up Alex Jones' character as being like a racist or something, unless he is, and I don't know about it. But
I think that also too maybe why it doesn't work as Alex Jones is like again this guy's very God centric. God's commands, like eternal damnation waits, like all that. I don't think that's really something you'd associate with Alex Jones. But Alex Jones still would have been a better reveal. Like,
he's not racist at all in this, is he? No, he's just like
Yeah, he seems to just be against people who quote unquote sin.
yeah.
Perverts and sinners,
Thieves, liars,
he's
pot
like
smokers.
very religious and
Yeah, he's very religious, this guy. If it had been like one of the fucking Westboro fucking church guys, that would have been something. But it's this weird Alex Jones parallel, Dusty Cooch, just doesn't really like land with me. Even though Dusty Cooch is a hilarious joke, like that's funny, and it is kind of funny to have an Alex Jones proxy be the villain. But it's kind of like, to me, it's disappointing.
yeah. I think we hit it in the beginning. Is just like I don't know. I just feel like these big reveals like mean nothing if there's not a little bit of build up beforehand of like who the character is.
2 or 3 issues. As slow as this book comes out, 2 or 3 issues would be half a year of build up. And if we had a half year build up to this guy being a guy that was teased, like instead of like Maxine being like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Beta Breakers and Mickey Mouse trying to finger her, like have a panel of a guy being like fucking like 3 guys. Like again, have some false leads. Where like 3 guys are like, Beta Breakers is a fucking sinful event of hedonism and everybody here, and just all these different guys, and just that way when Alpha Male shows up, it's one of those 3.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, even Eric used to do like a lot of like the red herrings and stuff. Like
red herrings, Sam Hayes, like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like you think it's somebody else and it's a twist,
Right.
Like, the problem is there is no twist.
Like if this guy, here's the thing, like if this guy was the fucking like Youngblood, you'd just be like, God damn, what? Like, wasn't he the lead of the SOS? Like that would have been a shocking twist, right?
Right.
But instead, it's Dusty Cooch, who means nothing, like because he just got here.
Right. But everyone else seems to be very familiar with him.
Right.
He does kind of have Youngblood's aesthetic, doesn't he?
No, because Youngblood has a patch and a ponytail.
But didn't he have also red stars and cowboy boots and shit?
I think he just had a metal arm.
Okay.
And a pouchy belt and a shoulder pad. I'm just saying, like, I know I'm repeating myself, but like, had he been one of these other characters, it would have been like, whoa, what? Instead, it's just like,
Like, he could, if he was literally anyone.
Yeah.
I think it does kind of illustrate too that this fight was mostly a distraction from the actual story, which is Maxine.
Well, see, that's the disheartening thing, is that it puts Malcolm, it kind of sucks a consequence out of his fight. Like, whereas Alpha Male seemed like a potentially cool, potentially recurring villain for the San Francisco era.
See, I didn't see him that way. I found him kind of generic visually. He kind of reminded me, design-wise, of like Absorbing Junior. Honestly.
Absorbing Junior.
Those
the arms.
Now, there's a name I have not thought of in a while. Good, but you're right.
But I always like those kind of like B and C level villains that don't have to be the biggest, but I just like to see some villains reoccur or like, get beaten and then come back in like 25 issues, even if they're not playing like the major bad guy role. They don't all have to be like the Doctor Dooms, you know?
Right. Yeah, it'd have been cool if like Alpha Male was just the guy who just got slapped around every few issues. Like
And
Malcolm,
then eventually teams up with makes like some kind of super team or something.
or
Super villain
upgrade,
team.
yeah, or like upgrades his armor and becomes a legit threat, or something. Anything better than him just. I mean, I don't want to skip like the Mickey Mouse like plot here, but like fucking, we're dancing all around it. Like for his suit malfunction to just take him out.
Yeah.
Like that was so disappointing. Like he's dead. I was just like, oh my god, dude. Like, introduced and gone.
I will say this: Malcolm's "what a complete asshole, fuck that guy" is pretty great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes, dude. What a complete asshole.
But I think
Fuck that guy was great.
even if there was a malfunction and he didn't die, but like it fried his brain or something, or he's stuck in his suit, or I don't know, something else. We don't know who this guy is. Now he's dead. The whole thing was nothing.
Right. Right. Like we talk about squandered potential in our FINTERESTING conversation. There are many things you could have done. Mark, I hadn't even thought about that. But to have his suit malfunction and then he's like fused to the suit, that would have been a much better way for this to go than he's just fucking dead. He's another playing piece introduced and removed that quick. And it's just like, I just think you could have done more with this guy. So, bit of a bummer there. We can jump backwards though, because like we did get the like and I do want to give like props. Like let's not lose everything. Like fucking dude, look at the scratchy shading on his arm in that no panel. Like that shit is
Yeah, it's
fucking
great.
killer. Like it looks so good, like visual fucking feast. But
Yeah, the art's top notch. Yeah, but
Mickey Mouse.
This whole issue looks great.
Mickey Mouse punching Maxine is like, I didn't expect their fight to have like kick-ass visuals because they are two kind of normally powered people, it seems. But like that
Right.
punch, that BAP punch, that's some good shit.
Yeah, that Mickey is a classic Larson punch pose. You gotta appreciate that.
Yeah,
Just in how the juxtaposition of it.
right. Mickey Mouse in a classic Larson punch is fucking killer. That's good stuff. Also, like, he's a sick fuck, bro, because, like, he sure had that "we're filming a new movie" thing just ready to go. So he's, like, legit trying to just fucking rape Maxine in front of all these cameras.
I must say, I'm disappointed that the rock to the head wasn't the end of it.
I know, dude.
I thought she was gonna spill his brains.
Yes.
I thought she was going to smash him in the head, and then after the page with Angel and Frank Glum, we would cut back to her still smashing him
Yes.
in the head, like over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
Then eat his brains like Kerr did.
Exactly, yeah. It's the only way to stop him.
The only way. You got to. He's going to keep coming back. But I guess what I'll say it now, since we're here towards the end of Maxine and Mickey's fight. I think you missed the chance to have some of those good visual gags. Like, she could have run past a food vendor and, like, grabbed a frying pan and, like, smacked him in the head with a frying pan. You know, that would have been hilarious. Somebody at Beta Breakers could have been, like, you know, carrying a giant mallet, and she could have smacked him with a giant mallet. Like, you do get kick-ass Larson violence, but I think if you have someone fighting Mickey Mouse, it is squandered potential to not go for some visual gags that you wouldn't really want with a normal guy, but it's Maxine fighting Mickey Mouse. Like, you know, have that frying pan, have that baseball bat, have that giant wooden mallet, you know?
Right.
Drop an anvil on him.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if Maxine dropped an
Acme
anvil,
anvil.
if Maxine dropped or a piano, Like they're running down the street, like if a piano dropped on him and he just came back, that would have fit what the cover was selling, you know? Like, oh, he can't be stopped. He keeps coming back. We didn't get it.
Like if he died several times.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
strictly speaking, at the end of this, he's not dead.
No.
So this may not be over.
True. I just think that, like, the cover promised a story that we didn't get. And I think that would have been... I guess what I was alluding to earlier is that, like, if you're going to have someone fighting a cartoon character, there's so many great opportunities for fun visual gags. Like, there's things you could have done that would have been, like, made it a truly memorable fight. Not that it's bad.
Like, not cartoony violence, but just violence that references cartoons.
Right.
Mm.
Like,
See, I think it's funnier that it's this realistic violence.
Do you?
I do, actually. I like Mickey getting the shit kicked out of him with boots and bats. Because he's a cartoon character and you expect the opposite.
Yeah, both. I think there's two ways he could have done, and he went with this one.
But I think we were not thrilled about what's his face dying the way he did. The ending here with Minnie showing up
Alpha male.
alpha male. Yeah, Minnie being the solution to this seems like also kind of lame, I guess.
I wasn't pleased.
His wife shows up and that's enough to back him off, get him to back down. Granted, she did have to hit him with the bat. But it's also confusing because she hits him with the bat and she screams about her wedding vows. And they immediately go in, she asks if they're interested in a foursome. So she's just as bad as he is. Is what is my takeaway from that.
I don't know about this ending. Yeah. It's very strange.
The ending, what gets me about this ending is Malcolm's reaction. He's just like, seriously, dude, you need to cool it. It's like, that's your reaction, Malcolm? Like, this mouse just fingered your wife and chased her down, tried to rape her, and then punched her in the face. And his reaction is, seriously, dude, you need to cool it.
Well, she says, he asked her straight
Go
up.
fry an egg.
Well, Malcolm asked Maxine if he wants, does she want him to go have a quote-unquote word with him? And she says, I don't think that's necessary. So she seems to have decided that further escalation isn't necessary.
But goddamn.
Which is strange.
Like, at what point?
At least call the police.
Right.
Yeah.
Fry him with your lightning. Like, at what point, as Malcolm, at what point do you not just kick fucking Mickey Mouse's ass? Which was what I thought this was building to. Like,
it's strange that the whole thing, like, was taking her sexual abuse seriously. She was processing it in, like, a natural, realistic way. And then to have the whole thing end with basically a gag is strange.
Yeah, it was dissatisfying. I didn't like. And here's the thing: is that, like, while it is the anatomy of a joke, right? While it is very funny to have Minnie Mouse see Malcolm and then want to force him, that's funny, right? Nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, we are an issue 3 of a 3-issue buildup. And that's where it doesn't land necessarily, because the assumption, am I not wrong, was that this was all building towards Malcolm uncorking the ass beating of a lifetime on Mickey Mouse.
Like I said, he's still alive.
At least the splash page.
He didn't even touch him.
Didn't even touch him. Hey, honey, I know this guy fingered you and just beat the shit out of you. But, like, do you think I should talk to him?
I mean, I guess
Will
he didn't
Smith
see it happen because
gave a bigger ass whooping.
I guess he maybe doesn't. One way you could kind of write it off is that he didn't see what happened because he was battling, so he just
he doesn't see anything, and she says, "I'm okay."
There's literally the words in the word balloon, did that rat do anything to you? So again, Malcolm's set up to be like, he doesn't know.
Right.
But goddamn, dude. Like, I'm just saying, like, me reading this, though, I'm expecting violence. Like, it feels like a lot of setup for a payoff that never comes.
Yeah, we've seen more violence toward Dusty Cooch, who is nobody, than the guy that we've all been waiting to see get his ass kicked for 3 issues.
Right. Yeah, Mickey Mouse, seriously built up as a world-class scumbag, faces no real consequences.
And even if it wasn't Malcolm, if it was just Maxine just beating the shit out of him, I don't know. It's just call the police. Even if it was just call the police. Have him taken away in handcuffs.
The visual of Mickey Mouse in handcuffs getting taken away by the police would have been...
in front of his wife?
Yeah. Would have been satisfying, right?
Yeah.
It would have been more satisfying. Like, we just didn't get that. You just didn't get it.
It's a weird choice.
I don't know.
But is it the end? I don't know. It feels like it is. It feels like it should be.
I will tell you that, like, if this doesn't, maybe, like, at the beginning of the next issue, Mickey Mouse is like, you know what? Fuck you! And then Malcolm just turns around and, like, punches his goddamn head off. Then we're talking, bracket-a-boom, and there's blood everywhere. All right, redemption. We're idiots. We didn't see the vision. We didn't know where you were going. But all we have in this moment is the information we have and our feelings. My question is, like, okay, so we're at the end of this issue before we get into the back matter. Like, honest reactions. So there were payoffs in this one in terms of most of the things. You know, Walter on the bridge paid off. You know, wrapped up.
Right.
Alpha Male wrapped up. Mickey Mouse wrapped up, we assume. So the only thing still rolling along is Frank and Glum's whole thing, which is, to me, the primo storyline right now. But you had 3 sort of things, like, wrapped up here. And it's like, all right, talk me through it, guys. Like, where are you at satisfaction level with these 3 payoffs?
Well, I'm happy with Walter, because something I think we forgot to mention is that Paul suggests that Walter come live at SOS headquarters, so I think that de facto means he's part of the SOS now, which is what I want, so I got what I want.
Okay.
I think the Mickey Mouse stuff feels incomplete, and if this is the end of it, mildly cop-out-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's just the end.
I don't give a shit about Alpha Male, and I expected him to die, so basically got what I expected out of that. And, you know, the Frank Glum Angel stuff continues, and that's pretty enjoyable.
Correct.
Well, I didn't give a shit about Alpha Male because there was no reason for me to give a shit about him. He just appeared and was gone just like that. And that's kind of a thing that's been going on for quite a bit of time now. And I just kind of want more long-term villains. I think especially if the Vicious Circle is now gone, you're not going to see like those, you know, reoccurring villains, which I think is something that I enjoy when it happens in Savage Dragon. Like, you know, especially in the earlier issues, seeing a reoccurring villain is almost as much fun as seeing, you know, a reoccurring, you know, hero.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's even more thrilling. You know, it's just it's a fun part of the book, and it just kind of sucks that we don't really have that much anymore. So that was a bummer for me. I want some more either long-staying villains or some established kind of like next level, you know, Dark Side or Cyberface type villain. I never thought that,
or even
the Alpha Male would be it.
If Alpha Male was part of a faction of these bigots,
right?
Like part of a larger group that we'd be seeing more of, maybe But it's just a one-off. Like you said, there's nothing really to get invested in here. When you watch those shows where it's the team just fights a new monster every week, it's a monster a week. The monster isn't really important,
Right.
you know.
And the thing with Glum is, yeah, it's cool, like, but we've seen Glum so much. Like, I thought the break to San Francisco would be a chance to like establish some new characters and like just bring in a bunch of new kind of a mix of the old guys, a bunch of new guys, and some like just start building these like villains and stuff. And now it's like, all right, we're in a new location, but now, all right, same old Glum's back. Which the Glum stuff's been interesting and fun, but again, we just moved to the West Coast. Like, let's build on this.
Well, there is the Bay Guardian lives there. There is an SOS team set up there, so you would imagine there'd have to be some kind of threats that would need Malcolm and his friends to move over there to take care of. So I'm sure we're going to see something. Like the next issue's got, what is it, the Dwellers of the Deep or whatever the hell they're called?
Yeah.
I don't remember what.
I mean, just think about like when the original SOS kind of arc is like, you've got a super team now. Now you've got to fight some like world-class villains, right?
Something that's worthy of a team.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got to go fight the Dread Knights or the Damien Dark Lords or something. Like that's
those fish people that we saw.
I think when we talk about squandered potential, there's a lot of things that Savage Dragon actually does have going on in this West Coast arc, but it could be utilized a little bit better, rather than necessarily seeing like so many pages of Maxine being pursued by Mickey Mouse with, to me, what felt like largely retread dialogue. I'm a big star, #1 at the box office. We got that. Like, I think you could, throw us in a page about like a superpowered, a person on the superpowered drug, fucking just using this chance to like wreak havoc, and like Malcolm's got to punch out a superpowered person, like, real quick or something. Have one of these like fishmen try to attack at the same, like, just, you got these irons in the fire. Have a scene, have a page where like the SOS is explaining, why the fuck they're not responding to this guy, like, oh, we'd love to help you, Malcolm, but there's, hate mongers down here, tearing up this San Francisco landmark, and there's just things that you could do. There's pieces on the chessboard, right? I just don't know necessarily if they're being utilized the way they could be.
Right.
I would have to agree with that.
What if Mickey Mouse comes back hopped up on super strength drug?
Then I'm back. Then I'm all in, dude.
Then that would be a great time to use the cover that he made for 271.
Right.
When he comes back and he's at a place where he shouldn't be.
Right. Yeah.
I find it funny how hung up you guys are on the cover.
It's only.
Well, it's just a cover to fuck with you. You guys got fucked with. You just can't stand it. You can't stand how fucked you've gotten with.
I know, dude. Like, here's the thing: it's like, if you're gonna book a match, you book it to be satisfying, and you can book a disappointing match, but it better pick up in the next thing. Like, that disappointment better lead somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you thought it was the end. Wrong. Mickey Mouse is back, and he's got fucking Donald now.
Goofy.
Goddamn Goofy's
Jim,
with him,
Jim, you said you had like a theory on, or a take on, what the "While the Universe Trembles" means.
I think it's when they all pull out their cameras and start filming Rapey Mickey. I think the universe is trembling and seeing this.
Oh, no.
I don't.
Well, actually, you know what? It's probably Frank Glum turning the lights on, causing Dimension X to tremble.
Yeah.
Would you want to see more of Mickey? Like,
No.
It doesn't.
The
It doesn't.
backlash that-
It doesn't say what universe is trembling. It says while.
like, would
a
you
universe
want to
is
see
trembling.
the follow up to this footage, making it on the news and stuff?
I heard,
if it was
I heard
something
Craig
quick.
yell no.
No.
No,
Craig
I mean,
yell
I guess I didn't let him finish. I don't really care to see Mickey return. Like, there's only 12 issues a year at the max that we get of this, and I feel like
Right.
I'd rather see development of characters I actually like than like Mickey
You're
Mouse.
over it.
Yeah, I thought, like I said, one issue, like couple page gag was good enough for me. Like, hey, hint, hint, like a wink, wink. You know, here's Mickey Mouse, and he's acting like an asshole, and it's kind of funny.
I
Couple of issues of it. It would be nice, like maybe if there was a news story saying like he was fired by Disney or something like that, like they're watching or something, or some quick panel
Mickey
that
gets
just kind of
canceled.
yeah, something like that. Fine, but I don't really need to see him back. I don't care.
On the other hand, I actually appreciate Eric committing to the bit. That it's not just a one-off thing, because being a one-off thing wouldn't really feel like a Larson move. That he did go the extra mile. I think I have more of a problem with the general rapey tone of it. In general, it'd be one thing if he was infatuated with Maxine. It's another thing to go with all the what we got.
Fingering.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, I'm
And the
kind of
note-
done
and
with
the note-
sexual violence in this book. I'm kind of over it.
It could have just been as good if he was just being a stalker, and with maybe the occasional grope when he goes over the line. But what we got was, I mean, granted, it is over the top, which is why we're reading Savage Dragon. But I think overall it could have been handled a little more fun, I guess, while also being creepy. But like I said, while I'm not thrilled entirely with how it shook out, I appreciate committing to it. That's me.
What about you guys? Raven, Mark?
I feel like I've said many times on the show that Savage Dragon is best when there's many irons in the fire. I will say that Savage Dragon, in the Malcolm era, has had an unfortunate tendency to not pay off on threads or characters, and it is an unfortunate kind of watermark of his era, where you don't get long running, arcs and characters and villains, and there's no long bombs. It's all pretty loosey goosey. Mickey Mouse is like a world trembling, like, oh, he's back. It's like, nah, no, he's not. He's chasing Maxine at a thing, and it's kind of like, I feel like, for me, obviously this is a lavishly beautiful issue. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful issue. It just, Walter's thing paid off good. Mickey did not pay off good. Alpha Male did not pay off good. Frank continues to be Frank Angel continues to be excellent. So it's like it's 50-50 on this for me currently. And that's how I feel. It's like, bad Savage Dragon, still good Savage Dragon, but I can't say this was good Savage Dragon. Like, there was definitely a lot of squandered potential. That's just the theme of this issue for me. It was just like, and again, you're the audience. To a degree, you shut the fuck up, sit back, and you just enjoy the show. You're not the director. That's always important to say. If I want to fight Mickey Mouse, I can fight Mickey Mouse. He's public domain, right?
Right.
But I'm just saying, as an audience member, for me, we only get so many issues of this a year, and that means that every issue I like to see, feel like it's taking its shots. It's doing things that, like, in that moment, it's like if you're having your main character fight Mickey Mouse, deliver. Especially if you're going to set it up for 3 issues, which is like one fourth of the year. And so it's kind of like to have it end with Minnie Mouse coming in and just, blah, blah, blah. You two want to force them? Ah! It's like, no, it was funny, but it just was also disappointing and deflating a little bit.
All right, there's just one more thing one thing left to be said. On a scale of 10 to all God being shot by missiles, where are we at in this issue?
6.
Pretty high, I'll be honest.
Well, I put it above 5 because of the art, and I did like the backup a lot too. So a 6.
So like 10 is the highest?
Correct.
I don't know. Well, I'm with Raven. I loved visually. This is a really, really good issue. If you're not reading it, you can enjoy the hell out of this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What?
I think.
If you're not reading it, you can enjoy the hell out of this one.
If you're just looking at the
if you
pages.
don't read, if you're just looking at the pictures.
Beautiful issues.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 5
I think the
down
art's
the
top
middle for
notch.
me.
I think
The
I'm gonna.
art's
I
great,
think
but
6
I'm not
sounds
a fan.
good. 6 sounds good. I really like the way this one looks.
Well, you're all zigging, well, I'm going to zag. I'm going to give it a 7.
Ooh.
Okay. I think the glum stuff is also enough to make it interesting. The Walter thing, I don't know how else that could have ended other than he's fine. He's going to come live with us.
True.
Um,
He's dead and he's never coming back.
Yeah. I'm glad he's not dead. I mean, I am glad he's not dead.
that would have been a Larson move to have him come all the way down there.
To fucking die.
Everyone's excited to see Walter. Yeah. And someone just shoots him on a bridge. Well, I guess he's dead.
And then we interview him later, and like, why did you kill Walter? He's like, man, I'm just fucking tired of him.
I don't know.
There's just nothing to do with him.
Drawing those W's just got too tedious.
So,
Yeah,
jumping.
I hate to do it, but it's like we all know that this is our favorite book, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. This is I'm not gonna.
no Judge Dredd.
I'll
say
say-
that much.
Okay, it's my favorite book. I'll say.
Same.
Yeah, this is my
no, it's
favorite
my
book.
favorite too.
So even when it's not great, I'm still loving it.
Yeah, of course.
It's pizza. You know, you're always gonna love pizza.
Yeah.
I don't like saying bad things about this book, but sometimes you gotta be honest.
We say it with love in our heart, and I mean, and
Yeah.
you care. You say these things because you care, and so it's like,
And we'll be here next time, to see what happens next.
oh fucking of course.
Yeah.
The worst Savage Dragon issue is better than 90% of all comics.
Oh my god, yes,
Yes.
dude, yeah. So this backup though was quite the surprise. This one's been missing for a long time. MIA. We've interviewed Eric about this fucking backup, and it was quite the surprise. I was very happy to see this finally show up, and at the hands of Simon, friend of the show, Simon Malice St. Pierre. You kick-ass artist, you. I loved it. If I'm rating this backup, 10 out of 10.
Whatever happened to Greta Gearbox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Maddie just kill Vane?
I don't know if she's dead, but could be.
She's got okay, so when Greta dies, she has a little star poking out of her mouth. And when Vane gets zapped, she has a little star coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, continue.
Not sure.
No, I'm just, it's always great to see Simon on the
Always.
book. Like, love Simon's sequentials and his art, and he's just such a different cartoonist than so many other cartoonists, and
Yeah.
it's so crazy to have a unique style, and like the entire goddamn world is artists, and yet you recognize Simon's stuff when you see it.
His
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
borders thing on his panels always stands out to me.
And I love it. Like, he's got great action. Like, Maxine's physical comedy is good. Like, kind of like, you know, Greta's dead expression works. You know, the stuff with Vane is good. Yeah, like, this backup is kick-ass. Like, I love it.
Do you guys
I'm gonna go with this backup. Pretty much the same way I felt about the main issue. Is I think the art is fantastic. The story is a little bit disappointing.
I mean, it's annoying because she's a robot and she's being rebuilt before.
Right. Yeah,
So-
Captain Tootsie just gave up, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is that I built it up in my head so much because we've been waiting so long about this. We've been hearing about this for a long time. This Greta Gearbox story, and then we finally see it, and it's Vane shows up, and then they fight, and then Greta dies. It's like, why couldn't any of the other 50 artists finish this?
Correct. Yeah.
Like, what was the problem that it took so long? I was expecting something more elaborate, or I don't know.
But yeah, you're right, because it is just kind of the fight I imagined it would be, where
Right.
Greta gets into a fight, gets smashed, the end. And there isn't any more than what I kind of figured it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
that
disappointing because I didn't want that to happen.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's the
I
only
like
thing.
Greta, and I wish she was on the SOS and shit like that.
Same. Yeah, I will say that those two things, I'm not going to pretend that didn't exist. Even though I was like, oh, yeah, I love it all so much. It's like, at the end of the day, though, Eric has just a slew of fellas who are willing to just knock this shit out for him. And I know Simon is, like, superhumanly fast. Like,
Yeah.
dude, Simon is so goddamn fast as a cartoonist. And it's just like, Eric could have had this so long ago. Like, if he wanted. And it really needed to happen long ago.
Well, think about it. Maddie's still swaddling in this, and she's walking around and stuff now.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
This took place ages ago.
You know, also though, I kind of like that it got into Simon's hands, because Simon does like some of the kid adventures, and he's got a cartoony kind of silly side, but he also shows with this style he can do like a superhero straight on action, and it looks good. I like it.
Yeah.
It's
Violence
it's,
and nudity,
his
yeah.
Vane looks great. I always thought Vane was a great visual character.
Oh, yeah.
But it's cool, and I also like kind of like the dual tone, kind of just the blue hues, which I think works well with his art. And it reminds me, did you guys ever collect like the Image series Casanova?
Yes.
Yes.
Which some of the later issues they were doing this, where they were just using 3 colors,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that, and I think it looks good here. It's kind of cool. It's just different, you know.
Agreed.
I think it looks fantastic. Simon, if you're listening, and I know you are, the pages look great. I think you did a hell of a job.
And
My concern is just that I've waited so long. It's like when you're waiting, when somebody tells you pizza's coming, you know, and then you're waiting, and then you're waiting, and then you're waiting, and then you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and then months later the pizza finally gets there, and you're like, hey, this is fine.
Yeah, no, I think you guys touched on it earlier, that it is hard after the wait for this to land with the impact it deserved.
yeah,
Right.
Like, had it dropped, like, you know, when Greta was in the book, had it dropped when I think it was intended to, this would have hit with a ton of bricks, because it would have been like, oh, fuck.
Absolutely.
Greta's just
Yeah.
fucking gone. You know, Greta Gearbox is gone. That sucks. I like that character. But it would have hit, and it's that kind of like loss that the book needs, you know, and has and delivers on a regular basis. Like, Savage Dragon is always like killing your favorite fucking character. But like, yeah, unfortunately, with Greta gone for so long, kind of the assumption was just that she was going to die.
Right.
Like, you were like, oh, well, you know, she's fucking gone. Walter's clearly the new Greta Gearbox. Like, he's the new weird character that hangs out with the family. And it's like Greta's just gone. And it's like, I'm assuming she gets killed in some way. And she did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The good news is now that's kind of closed, so there's no more question or,
Right.
Yeah.
I do like
But
that
even the
fact.
way she died is just a random attack from Vane. Well, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's a fair complaint. Like, if it's me, and like something has been cooking for this long, maybe one could say too long.
Right.
I would take that into consideration, and I would say, okay, we got to do something to jazz this story up. Like, there needs to be throw it like an element of like extra drama, like Greta fucking jumps in front of like a attack of Vane's trying to attack, and Greta's like protects the family and like fucking does something that like makes Captain Tootsie be like, but that's crazy, I never programmed her to do that, or something like that. It's just like,
Right.
it strikes a chord a little extra, like, damn, that story really landed in a way I didn't expect. Unfortunately, this story lands exactly how you would expect. So yeah.
Well, I think the other thing too is that, like, if they're gonna destroy Greta, maybe use like a villain, like one of the lava lords or something that just completely incinerates her, that beyond repair. Because the other thing that makes it look weird is like, oh, she's been like a part of the family, and now she's like kind of busted. And I think like Mark kind of said in the beginning, like, why not just like fix her?
Right.
Yeah, fix her.
The Captain Tootsie.
They fixed Ultra Magnus.
Well, and they fixed like the robots before. Didn't she get busted up before, or the other? I don't know. Like when she was like a villain, right?
Now, if they were put her in a situation where she had to sacrifice herself, like self-detonate,
Yeah.
Right.
That would have been a good thing.
where it was, she goes out in a blaze of glory. It's something that's irreversible.
Ooh,
Right.
Jim.
And she just got.
Yeah, if she
Jim.
exploded like as a self-destruct, I could believe that she couldn't be repaired.
Jim, this
Right,
is
yeah.
gonna get Jim or any manga readers who read One Punch Man, but you give her that bicycle rider moment
Yeah.
where like she's in an overwhelming odds, and it's like Greta Gearbox definitely shouldn't be able to take out this guy,
Yeah.
but she like turns and says her goodbye, and then like fucking blows herself up and like saves the day, and everybody's like, oh my god, she fucking saved us, but she's gone. Like, that would have really hit, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's done. Thank you, Simon, for finishing this.
I blame you, Simon, for
We're getting
this.
this
I
thing
blame you, Simon, for this. I don't care.
not the story's
I don't
fault. It's not
care that
anyone's
Eric's
fault.
name says plot. I blame you, Simon.
How dare you, Simon? Simon, you should have done it. Why didn't you have her detonate, Simon? No. No, it's a kick-ass story. It is just another one of those things where it's like, you remember when like last year we only got like 3 issues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, if you're only going to get 3 issues, like, why not make each one of those 3 issues just be fucking insane, So that it's like, yeah, we only got 3 issues, but god damn, like, and that's kind of how this Greta Gearbox thing is like, well, I feel like it was told as if it was just coming out on time and with no consideration for like the context.
Right.
And I feel like it would have greatly benefited from a little extra consideration for the context.
Well, I gotta wonder, because Greta disappeared from the book. That it took me a while to realize she was missing. And as I understand it, Eric had this plot written back then, and it was supposed to be a backup. So he intended to destroy her like this.
It was supposed to be in one of the anniversary issues, and it went through a couple of artists that couldn't finish.
But that means as far back as then, he didn't have any further plans for Greta,
right?
Which I think is just unfortunate. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Greta. I just think Greta's cool. I just remember back when she was introduced, we were all speculating, oh, is this some magical girl shit? look at what she is, and she wound up being a robot, a sex bot, and got reprogrammed to be the nanny, and that was all fun. But I always felt like all characters in Savage Dragon, she could have been a lot more. I mean, there aren't that many robot characters in the comic, and there was a lack of superheroes that are, Malcolm's contemporaries, and there's no reason she couldn't have become her own character and become like his super patriot or what have you.
Thank you. Exactly. When I saw the character, I assumed that she was going to be like Malcolm's super patriot. Just a person whose arms explode into fucking guns. Cool.
She could have joined the SOS.
That's what I keep saying. Her and Walter back to back.
Or even just have her around as a Tootsie satellite character.
Also that.
Like Tootsie shows up in the book and you see Greta. And he's like, deliver the big gun. Time for the big gun, Greta. And like Greta just drops down with a giant cannon. Yes, sir. Something like that. Just there's things you could do that would be cool with this character, but
junk keep.
Yeah.
Oh well, rip.
I guess Walter's gonna have to wear a French maid outfit now in honor of her when he starts hanging around the SOS headquarters.
I do love KFC, hell.
All right, let's put this one to bed. Raven, take us home.
We got this sweet pinup we got to talk about.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's one more, yeah.
A Ken Albury.
Hell yeah.
Almost a playing card.
Janny twins. Yeah.
Friend of the show. Super Freaks contributor.
Creator of the Salvage Shinu.
Yeah.
And creator of the Savage Dragon video game that I mentioned last episode.
Oh, right. He did come out and say that, right? We were wondering
incredibly.
who it was.
Yeah, for listeners, he even said there was a second level where it was dung. And if you lost, it would just the dragon would be covered in shit. So good.
But this pinup is pretty sweet. I like it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what his next pinup. See, it's like Ken's getting a lot of pinups in a lot of books lately, and good for him. And I can't wait to see where he shows up next.
He keeps growing and growing as an artist. His stuff's incredible now. I really like his stuff. Like it's
he's improving really, really quickly.
Yeah, I'm very proud of Ken. He has really truly grown as an artist so much, and it is exciting to see where he's pushing himself and taking himself to. All right, you guys want to go home? Then I think we should be careful for those who would destroy us. Malcolm Dragon faces the deadly Night Dwellers, a nocturnal gang out to take control of the San Francisco underworld. Maxine Dragon is spiraling out of control, and her loving husband is out to save her. Surprisingly, despite that killer text, it does not come with our highest possible recommendation.
Oh no.
So
someone forgot to recommend it.
Reader beware. But the cover looks beautiful. The copy makes it sound fantastic. San Francisco vampires, I'm fucking in for it. Hell yeah.
Certainly curious. Go. Yeah. So let's hope. Let's hope this less squandered, perhaps.
I love you, Savage Dragon, and I love you, Savage FinCast listeners. Please don't be upset with us.
please send us emails. So yeah, if you want to send us that email, you of course can send it to savagefincast@gmail.com. If you're looking for this podcast, I don't know how since you already listened to it, but you can find us on iTunes, Google Play Podcast. Well, I guess it's YouTube Music now, Spotify, and YouTube. And, of course, you can always find us at our website at savagefincast.com, which is part, of course, of the Gutter Trash Podcast Network. And that wraps us up for this episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's been fun.
See ya.
I'm gonna go off and squander my life as I do every day.
Bye.
Hack to